Okay, cool. We're live. So, well, how do we get here? It's only 24 hours or less than that before we have to debut our new water recipe at this event tomorrow. Woohoo! So it's Reed Steven. It's Friday here in Las Vegas. I'm done with my day job at school for like the summer. It's kind of nice. It's kind of like the third time I think I've gone and being like, yeah, this is my last time like leaving the school and never coming back. Very natural to go through cycles of stuff like that. But I think this time, hopefully, if things go well, because we want to get to Taiwan by the end of the year. So hopefully, I'm not going to be there. Um, but yeah, part of that is making sure that this water formula is well, and that we can get people some cool water. Yeah, win-wins. So how's it going, Steven? You doing all right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So I got some agenda for today. It's been a couple days since we went live. Steven and I have been killed by our AC breaking down. It is 100 degrees Fahrenheit or around like 38 degrees Celsius here in Vegas. So that has just been like killer. We couldn't test, we couldn't do work, we just not even at night because at night it'd still be like 95 degrees. So that was really ridiculous. So we have just been trying not to kill each other basically. So we didn't kill each other. It's great. But now we have to get back to the work of catching up with this water recipe because it has to debut tomorrow at Tea and Whisk. And you guys will get the link to buy it tomorrow if you want it. So it's fantastic, honestly. So, agenda for today is I want to go over what happened on Tuesday during that group tasting. If you weren't there for the live, I thought it was awesome. Very nerve wracking. I think I just ate my mouth the whole time. I was like, just like chewing my lip. So scary. Like, I didn't ask Leo to try it before the live. He was being very honest. I think the whole group there was really honest. So, Alex, Christine, Tyler, Hannah, and Leo, thank you so much for kind of helping us test the recipe. Our recipe kicked the, I don't know what profane word to use here, the balls ass out of RO water, which is great. And then in the lineup, together with the Japanese water, it was difficult to distinguish which one was the Tikiro's water recipe versus the Japanese water that we liked a lot, which I thought it was a big win. It basically means whether you want to just get like, natural Japanese water, it's fantastic, but if you want to swap it out for, because you don't have Japanese water at hand, you don't live in Japan, you don't have a means to buy that water, especially with the single-use plastic bottles, it works out. Just use our recipe, and I'm really, really, really happy about that. So yeah. Um, so that went well. We'll talk about that, and then we're gonna do some testing today because today is the last day that we get to test. Tomorrow morning we had to pack those bottles, make sure that they're ready to go out to you guys who are ordering this formula. Yeah. So yeah, nice to see you guys. Rosie, nice to see you. Leaves in hot water. Thomas, Joe, nice to see you. Yeah, that AC situation was killer. Really was really bad. Yeah, I think when the AC came on, the light just came back down from the heavens. It was so great. So we're behind, but I think we're okay. I think that Tuesday was just such a big jump in our progress. Um, in a blind tasting, our water performed better than RO water. I didn't want to put it up against tap water. It's just not a contest, but we wanted to use RO water as a basis because that's what Leo uses at his shop. So professional environment in terms of like showing off product to customers, people tasting sencha either for the first time or like to buy a product. He's using RO water. This is not unusual. I know a couple of tea shop owners who use RO water, especially for lighter teas. So was solid. And yeah, it did well, at least for sencha. And then the interesting thing was when it got to Shincha, our water actually didn't do as well compared to RO water. So that was a tricky thing. Basically, we have been operating on the assumption that if something is going to be good for Shincha, it will be as good as for Sencha. But I don't think that's the case. In our blind tastings, our water outperformed the RO water when tasted with sencha, regular sencha, meaning like not first harvest, not first pick, early spring sencha, right? But once we use the shincha, and this is just one round to be fair, once we use the shincha, the RO water was preferred. So I'm kind of like, I kind of had to like revisit the idea of just because the water is good for shincha, it doesn't mean we can conflate those results with sencha. Those are two different kinds of teas. I think I got a little like sentimental about it and forgot that shincha and sencha can be very different flavor profile wise. The way that the tea is grown, the decisions that the tea maker is making, the harvest date, right? It changes so much about the flavor chemistry of the tea that I think we need to remind ourselves we need to test with the sencha too. So today we will probably test with the sencha and the other shincha that we have, just in case, just to put some data points on the table. But it went well. Group tasting was good. People thought that the recipe was very creamy and umami and sweet with long finish. That's what I want to share with you guys so that you can bring that out of your Japanese green teas. And in areas that the RO water did better, I would suggest to just pick up our old recipe original, which is still one of our favorite, profiles to come out of a green tea. Floral, mineral, bright, vivacious, vibrant, just delicious. So now you have two options. And if you like autumn, then you have three. I think in theory, green tea is a little bit better with the lighter waters, but I still do think that autumn can have a fantastic effect on your green tea if you prefer that kind of like more round, more like really smoothed out flavor profile. So I'm pretty happy. Yeah. Let me know how you guys are doing, then we'll get started. So that's that for tea and whisks tasting. Paulina, nice to see you. Kim, so nice to see you. Does Kim even know that we put her episode up on the podcast? We're so bad. We're so bad at telling people that it's up. It's fortunately not up yet. I haven't blasted it out to like the masses. So I do that. I will like just very gently be like, we're finished with this thing. And then the people who are like really paying attention will get to know it. And then maybe like 3 months later, I'll actually like not be like shy enough to like tell everyone about it. So, Kim, I just want to do that thing where like I take a clip of your voice and then put it on social media so it sounds awesome, which you did for your Spanish speaking podcast. So, it's been great so far. People have loved it. The small amount of people that I've actually let listen to it, but technically, if someone wants to just like look it up right now, it's not locked or anything. So, yeah. Yeah, I prefer a gentle process, very low key. Yeah, we're very low key. We're not good at like, which I think this is the most we're kind of like drumming up to a product this week. And even then, I'm very like, so that's why I partnered up with Leo at TNWS because he knows how to like kind of put things forward, get me confident. So we're two people, we're not very high key. We can be high key, but like compared to like the average like other person, we're very like, yeah. So let's drink this tea. We will test today another shincha. Yes, we learned that shincha may or may not be conflatable, the results with sencha, but I do want to try this shincha. It traveled so far away for us to like be able to taste it. This is from Ikegawa Tea Farm. This is their Kiri no Kaori. First flush sencha, they're calling it. It's a shincha. It's a first harvest green tea, right? Again, I love this cooperative. They showed up in Global Japanese Tea Marathons marathon last year. It's just really cute like group of people who seem to have escaped like city life to go up to the mountains and be happy is their story. So we'll try this today. And then we will try the recipe with sencha. And then both times we will be just kind of dialing in. I think we have a nice base for the recipe. I don't have time to like test 10 billion other like big variations, but we have some tiny adjustments we want to make tonight just to really dial in, just to tell you what I'm thinking about it. I think the texture is amazing. Texture is amazing. People kept saying like it's almost milky, it's almost creamy, delicious, really good. The umami comes out, the finish is very long, so texture I think is on point. I think you'll be really happy. And I think what I want to pull a little bit more of is I want just a tiny bit more poppiness from the flavor. I want some more notes. So the texture's taken care of, but let's say you want your sencha to have that vegetal note, that floral note, that, sometimes it's like a steamed green beans or like broccoli or Brussels sprout note. I think this water is just a tiny bit needing a little pop, just a tiny bit. And this is me just being very finicky. I think it's an excellent water if we had no time to like fix it. I don't think it needs fixing. I think it's great, but I want to really squeeze the towel and see if we can just make a last couple adjustments. And this is not random. We know which things to adjust, and I'll walk through that with you guys, and we'll just have fun drinking tea on this Friday. I'm pretty happy. If you can tell, I'm pretty relaxed. It just tastes so good. So we're good. We actually have the labels printed out and everything. We were pretty confident with this water. So yeah. um yeah. So let's see, San. So Kim, we are to hold a tea event in my town in August. Oh, I wish I could go. August is my birthday, Kim. You want to give me a ticket to for my birthday? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But maybe. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Monomoku, nice to see you. Tivo, you're hi, hello. Seeking Neon Buddha, welcome, welcome. So many friends from so many places. I love it. I miss you guys. Thanks for hopping in. Grab some tea, whether it's herbal tea. We're gonna be up really late, so we'll be very caffeinated, but join us. This will be very kind of low-key, just to make space for the high-key decisions that me and Steven have to make tonight. Again, this is, I think, the second to last or last live stream we'll be doing through the process of developing this recipe, and I will be talking through my thought process, what I'm tasting, what I need to adjust, so you can see what goes into the making of these recipes. And part of the reason why we want to do it is for me and Steven to look back, hopefully in like 10 years, and kind of laugh at what we did and see how we made this product. And also just for the spirit of like just transparency. When we set out to do this water formula stuff, I think I had like a little bit of like, oh, I'm not sure if I really want to do this. Aren't we trying to like not be like the water companies who are like selling water from far away and corporatizing water? But you know, I'm of the opinion that in the ideal world, yes, I think we all live next to like a beautiful stream that we like fish out of and, you know, swim, and our babies are born in the river. And I think that's the ideal. I really like that idea, but I don't think it's feasible in today's just world, you know? And I don't think we should just lay down and just take it. So finding solutions to kind of like play the game that big corporate everything is doing, but in like our way, right? So yes, we are selling a product, yes, we are selling water, but like I want to tell everyone what's in it so that you're not like, what the hell is this? There's no secret formula, there's no weird shenanigans. It's stuff that we believe in, you know, and hopefully you guys like it and believe in it too, which has been the case, so thank you. So that's the reason why we're doing this, and it's been very rewarding, I think, for us. Huh, Steven?
Yeah.
Hope that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. Kim's birthday is in August too? When's your birthday, Kim? Oh my. Oh, Steven's birthday is in August as well. Sorry, Steven, I just totally forgot about you. You have to remember, me and Steven almost killed each other during the AC being out. We love each other very much, but 100 degrees Celsius with like the stress of like everything going on. Oh no, nice. It's 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
It felt like it.
Basically this, right? 100 degrees Celsius. No, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This is 85 degrees. So it was hotter than our water. I'm just kidding. No. Oh, so Kim is the 13th. I'm the 23rd. So, and then another week until Steven's the 30th. So, yep. I'm supposed to be like a half Virgo, half Leo. Something like that. Because I'm like born right in the day. And, supposedly, I'm like supposed to be meticulous, but also a little bit like rah-rah. I don't know. I have no idea. So that's cool. I find that I hope this doesn't make you feel like you're not special, but I find that we have a lot of tea friends who are born in August, September. I don't know what that is. I mean, August, September is one of the most common birthdays of people because people get it on in December, I guess, but I don't know. But we have a lot of friends born that month. All right. So this is the Ikegawa Kiri no Kaori. I haven't tried it before, so really quick, let's get to know this tea first. I'm so excited. So this we got last week during a live stream. That was really funny. The DHL truck came in at like 9:30, almost 10 o'clock. It was ridiculous.
This week, fan.
Was it this week?
It was a few days ago.
Oh my god, that was a few days ago? You can see me and Steven are like... Wagga wagga wagga. Yeah. We've been so busy, and if it's not obvious, like we're not really. I'm not built to be busy. I have like I'm just very like I want to relax. I can't really handle very much. So here's this tea that we're drinking. Really nice leaf. Let me like put some light on it so you guys can see how beautiful this is. Nice. Look at how like whole and long the leaves are. Really pretty. Really dark color too. It smells amazing without even like coming near it. Ooh, wow. I got like a potato note almost.
You know what I get one?
Huh? I just want to smell. I want to smell both. Hi, Tea Potato. How's it going? We're still alive. We made it. Okay. So I'm curious, people on chat, since we have so many people from all over, what's your water like locally? Just curious. I love being able to compare like notes on like your local water terroir, basically. And our local water terroir is hard. Um, yeah, getting to know water, it's a left brain thing, but it's also a right brain thing. I keep saying this. Like, we can't just over sciencify it. Then you can't just like not use science at all. And there's like a spiritual quality to water, in so many like world cultures, our cultures, right? Water is quite spiritual. So me and Steven felt like we couldn't just go all the way like numbers, ions, pH. Yes, but also, what does it mean for us as humans? What has it meant? And reading about the way that, I have to cite like Robin Kimmer from Braiding Sweetgrass and like getting to know like place and getting to know nature and getting to know, right? Like, and I owe a lot of like indigenous like thought leaders to talk about this kind of like concept of like, where does your water come from? And what forms does it exist in? Like, remember that water is not just river or like ocean. Snow is water too. Ice is water, like water vapor is water, which I never thought about before. And then in the process, like, how does your water get to you? Where does it come from? Is it from underground? Is it meltwater? From where does it come from? And before we started doing Tikira's water, I had no clue. Honestly, I knew that Lake Mead was our reservoir. Lake Mead here in Las Vegas is like this giant man-made lake. But I think I vaguely knew that it was fed by the Colorado River. Like, vaguely, Like, if you caught me on a bad day, I might say it's a Rio Grande. Like, that's just how ignorant I think I was, and I think, honestly, a lot of us are, because who's going to give you, like, a gold star for knowing what your water source is? You're not going to get a tax rebate for it. You're not going to get paid for it. We're just so busy, It's not valued, that knowledge. But in the process of getting to know water, it's been great. I don't want to, like, over-explain it, but building a relationship with your water and knowing where it comes from and really appreciating it has become so important to us. And I honestly owe it to like the process of doing Tahira's water stuff. And now I know like the headwaters of our water, it goes all the way from friggin' like Colorado. It's crazy. It comes so far and it goes through Lake Powell, which is another like contested like reservoir, goes all the way down, passes through like, 30 tribes' like traditional lands, like the Colorado River Basin tribes. And I'm like, I never heard of these people before. Who knows, And then once you do that, even if, there is Colorado River water in this water because it's the base for the Tahira's water. We filter it and then we add the minerals back in. It's just nice. Now you have like a increasing loop of like, where your tea comes from, where your water comes from, where like stuff comes from. It's nice. It just helps to build different kinds of knowledge, I think. So this is nice. Ooh, beautiful. So this is Kirino Kaori from Ikegawa Tea Farm Co-op or something like that. I forgot it's from Ikegawa. It's like right by a river. It was beautiful. If you guys were at Global Japanese Tea Marathon last year, those guys with like the beautiful river and like little like banners and stuff.
Careful, because it's
So nice. So it's Kochi. So it's the Nyodogawa, so Nyodo River village, I guess. In Kochi. So relatively less known area in Japan. I think towards the south, right? It's good. So Tea Warrior, are you going to be up late after drinking all this tea now, or are you caffeine tolerant?
We have to work late
We
anyway.
had to work late, but we are actually not very caffeine tolerant. We would typically not have so much tea up, but we just fixed our AC today. And then
herbal tea right now.
I've been like trying to, up until lately, up until today, actually, is my first day not having an early morning schedule. We just had to do it at night, so we just had to deal with it. Honestly, the teas have been comfortable enough that we haven't been being killed by them. I've been really grateful to these teas coming in because they're not keeping us so late. I don't know if it's because like the L-theanine content is good or we've been just so tired, but we're not particularly caffeine tolerant. I stay up really late. It's been a journey having to like accept that. I'm not sure about you guys, but like for many years I thought I'm gonna just be invincible and like be able to drink tea really late and no problems. And then honestly, I had sleep problems for a long time. Like pretty bad. And then fixed up my stuff and fixed up my sleep schedule and lifestyle choices, and then didn't drink tea so late, then my sleep was better. So yeah, I think that we love tea, but I feel like there's a little bit too much of the just drink caffeine whenever. Gotta be sensitive to the humans too, right? So you're in Seattle, right? Seattle's beautiful. Love Seattle water. You guys are awesome. I'm surprised that you're actually listening to us talk about water because we have a running joke that our friends in the Pacific Northwest don't care because you guys have amazing water already. That's not true. You do have amazing water, but there's so many different ways to like work with it, add minerals. Seattle friends, Pacific Northwest friends, I'd actually recommend like adding minerals to see what the rest of us are drinking. And it's good. It is good. It's interesting to see. Tea potato. Let's see. You do have delicious water. Yes, delicious water that makes it pretty bad for tea. 160 TDS. Yeah. A lot of the heavier waters are more preferred for culinary reasons. So when people ask me if a water's delicious, is it good for tea? No, it's not. So you don't typically see us drink the water before we taste it with the tea because I find almost no correlation between the tastiness of the water and how good it is for tea. It's different. Yeah. Monomoku, crisp in Colorado, snow-like? Yes. So maybe we share some water, friend, because we get our water from up there. Yeah. Very nice. Tea potato is tempted to try some springs up in the mountain. Why is it not considered drinkable? I wonder. Like heavy metals or something like that? That's a concern is a lot of people think we can just like go up to the spring and like collect and it's gonna be good for tea. It's typically not. Unless you really target a specific spring. We got some springs here in Vegas. It's like, no, we can't use it for tea. Yeah. Oh, so you're one of those people who for whom tea caffeine has not bothered me. I want to say weight, but also we do have some friends that they're not affected by caffeine. So it depends on the person, you know. Monomoku, some people can drink so late. Yeah, I thought that was us too. Tea Warrior. Yeah, it's true. Our water's pretty good, but now I'm curious about this mineral addition. Yeah, your water's light enough that you can honestly just. Because I recommend with our water addition, you have to drop these guys into RO water. But Seattle water is so light that depending where you are in Seattle, if you are an area that you know you have really light water, it depends on the reservoir that you're on. I would actually be okay with you adding these guys directly to your water. Because typically the average person has to start with a base water. Like RO water, everything taken out of it as close as possible or distilled, you know? But Seattle is just so light, I would be okay with it. But if you want to taste what it really tastes like, RO water is the ideal. So Kim from Sunplants, what do you suggest if there's no access to fresh water, nor access to your water? Let me go take you somewhere. I go in August. Dreaming about traveling to Argentina. You can use I'm not sure if you have access to the salts that we have here in America. But our recipe, at least original, the very first recipe that we came out with is publicly available. So if you feel like it, you can make a gigantic batch of it and then use it at home, you know? That's why we made it open, because I know that not everyone can afford to get water shipped to them. Not everyone wants to. Some people want to put the effort in to do it by themselves, no problem. Besides that, what do you use for water typically, Kim? I'm curious. Because if you have great water at home, I never tell people who already have good water to get our water. Unless you want to learn about different iterations of the tea. Yes, I absolutely, get to know what other people are tasting then, especially if you work in the tea industry in some regard. I think that it's important for us as industry people to understand water so we know what our customers and guests and friends are tasting. You don't want to be shocked when you send out a really precious tea, and then you know how good that right? You're confident in your tea. And then later on a review comes in and the person's like, so and so's, tea wasn't really what they said. It's frustrating, right? Really frustrating, but a lot of it is the water. So, like a significant portion of it, in my opinion, is the water and then the brewing style. I'm brewing this really fast. Which we typically do anyway. This is delicious.
It's really good.
It's a very like crispy vegetal. It's got like a nutty aspect to it. I like it a lot.
Seeker's water too.
Quite fragrant. This is original. So I'm just getting to know the tea using our standard water. So this is another reason why I recommend using a standard water, like Tahira's recipe, is whenever a tea lands on my table and I want to get to know that tea, I use original. It's just what we use from a day-to-day basis. We use autumn too for like making things sweet and like chocolatey and thick. I love that recipe. But we get to know a tea very, very sharply through original. Same people, same teaware, same water. The only difference is the tea and then your mentality that day. Then you can really get to know like a tea. I have so much confidence when someone like lands a tea on my table. I'm like, I'm gonna get to know this tea. Not in like a big-headed way, right? But like I just know my water so much. I know my brewing setup so much. So nice tea, really good. Now, it is quite poppy. This is so delicious. I'm curious to see how it's gonna perform with the new recipe. So now that I've gotten to know this tea a little bit more, we're gonna bust out the bowls and brew this tea again with. So we call this prototype Fluffy from what, Tuesday? Monday? Monday. So we have a prototype called Fluffy, right? Fluffy, then a Fluffy 1.5. Honestly, half times, sorry, 0.5. So what's different to explain for you guys who haven't seen our water stuff yet, this mineral formula and your water, Seattle water, Colorado water, Vegas water, they all differ because of the mineral content and even tiny adjustments. We saw this. This was crazy. Tiny friggin' adjustments in the amount of minerals, like 1 part per million, 2 parts per million, 3 parts per million, can make the tea taste crazy different. It was insane because we've done these variations already off camera, but we want to do them again just to get more data. Such a huge difference. Like flavor notes appear, flavor notes disappear, the texture becomes dry and astringent and gross, and then the texture becomes smooth again. It's fantastic. So that's why we are doing this new recipe. It is a very different kind of like ratio of minerals, meant to boost like texture and make it more friendly. Tahira's original. I love it. I think popular opinion is that it's quite and I agree with it. It's a very extreme water. It pulls a lot of data from the leaves, which is coming from my bias as like someone who used to work in the tea industry and still does. But I mean, like I used to like evaluate tea and still do to like, posture for a market. I want to like really, bowl brew the tea, trial by fire the tea, competition grade, like competition style brew the tea to get as much info from it, including flaws. As a result, Tahira's original is a very efficient water, but not very forgiving. If you have any flaw at all in your tea, there's a little bit of extra bitterness, extra harshness. Tahira's water will like, the original formula will blast it with like a light. So this new recipe Hey, you want to make some guesses as to this new recipe? The name? No one's guessed it correct yet. People have tried. Um, if you guess it right, I'll send you a free one of the first bottles that we bottle. This new water is more friendly, more mellow, more nuanced. So we would like it a lot. Um, see, Anthony, nice to see you. Ariane, hi. Alex, hi. Nice to see you. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for joining us. We are about to do a bold brew thing with the different variations of this prototype we made. It's called Fluffy. Yeah, because it's just so fluffy on the mouth. We're 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 marketing it as a Japanese tea formula. We kind of committed to it, but now I'm curious to see how it performs with High Mountain Oolong. I bet it's gonna be dope, dude. Like that, like fluffy, creamy thing. But I don't know. I'm just should we make sure we like test it with High Mountain Oolong to see it just doesn't like taste whack, like whack. So, yeah, we will see. Yes, Tea Potato. It is called Fluffy, the prototype, but the official name is not Fluffy. It probably will be Fluffy forever, like as a nickname. It's a different name though, the official. So Kim is asking, sorry Kim for taking so long. You know me, I go off. So filtered water. If your filtered water is good for tea, that's great. Something you can do for those of you who haven't done this yet is you can look at your local water report. Um, and if you don't have a local water report, the question is, do your dishes stain with like mineral residue when you wash your dishes? Or is your water super soft, right? Do you ever get like water stains on anything? If you ever get water stains on anything, that's for me an emergency situation. You must be aware of it. I don't think you need to change your water if you like the taste of your hard water. Some people like the taste of hard water. I think it's good in some capacities. In theory, though, it's not a good, typically not good. Soft water is preferred, light water is preferred. Um, but yeah, so figure that out first, Kim. Does your tea brew up a little bit darker than most people's? Does your tea, when people are like, oh, I got 15 steeps out of this pu'er, do you seem to get fewer infusions than most people think? Um, does your tea get cloudy easily, especially black tea? Like if you leave it overnight? I know you guys do it. I do. Maybe some of you are responsible, but I'm not that responsible. If you leave your black tea overnight, does a film form over it? Like a weird, like rainbow looking oily film. All like surefire ways to determine if you have your water is a little bit too hard and you should probably diagnose it. So, yeah. So from there, then we can figure out what else we have to do, to like see if you really need like a different water. This is great. Aftertaste is great. Original is fantastic. I honestly think that a lot of people would find this to be too bitter. I think is a problem. And here's the thing for you guys, a lot of tea industry friends here. There's an interesting study. It's Frank's 2019. Really fascinating. It showed that people from different areas and levels of experience with tea, but all serious tea drinkers, okay? They prefer different waters for the same kind of tea, green tea, okay? I don't think it was the same green tea. But if you asked people in like upstate New York who drink loose leaf tea versus a panel of trained tea tasters in China, which water they preferred in a blind tasting with a green tea, they would give you different responses. And it seems that the Chinese tea tasting committee didn't mind as much the bittersweet components of the green tea versus the people that tested from upstate New York. And I don't want to like make this a sweeping like East versus West situation because I'm Filipino. Like I'm gonna be very aware that like East and West, there's no what's East, what's West. Like it depends on the person, right? Like if you so instead of just making a sweeping generalization about culture, because who the fuck is, you know what I mean? Like sorry to curse, but like you can't even. I am from the
What about
East.
the Southern Hemisphere?
Yeah, I'm from the East, right? Technically, but Filipinos don't like bitter things. Okay, like we like sweet stuff, and like we use a knife, we use a spoon and a fork. We don't use chopsticks. Anyway, my point being, look at the individual, right? Have you been exposed to a lot of bitter things in your life? Good bitterness. Have you drunk a lot of tea that's bitter? Um, what is your genetic profile? Epigenetic factors, the way that your genes express themselves when you're in your environment. These things will change the way that you perceive taste, right? So that what I think this is great. I bet you there's at least half of you in this chat who would find this to be way too bitter and be like, what the hell, Ree? Like, this is why I don't want you to boil green tea or use a Gaiwan for brewing green tea. But in my opinion, I like it a lot. So, and that's, I'm sure the more I use, hot water for boiling green tea, the more I like the bitterness, the more I get used to it. Because, yeah, I've straight faced been like, this is amazing, try it to a person. And they're like, that's really bitter. Like your mom and dad, they have very different opinions on.
They have different opinions from each other.
Yes, very different opinions on the same tea brewed with the same water. Like one of them would be like, this is no way, nope, nope. And then the other one would be like, no, this is great. And then the next one, your dad will be like, I don't like this one. It just doesn't taste like anything. And your mom would be like, this is smooth. I like this, So now you have to get to know who your people are and have some things prepared for when you do kind of enter into that natural like exchange of like different people, different, teas, different experiences, different environments, what you want to bring out from the tea. Not to say we can control all of it, but I think awareness is very important for us as tea brewers. Just be aware. Don't be caught off guard, by your tea. That's what I want. So yeah, let's do this tasting. I like this green tea. I'm gonna brew it one more time to see.
Let me heat up the water. Or
no, I just want to see if it will like go to like a third steep. Tea Curious Original being a very what we call a high extraction water. Theoretically, I mean I've never measured this myself, but from studies we've seen over and over again, the profile of original, our original formula, tends to preserve the count of polyphenols in the tea, which is why it's more like kind of the bittersweetness can come out very easily. But then as it also pulls flavor compounds from the tea very, very well. Versus if you have hard water, this is the problem with hard water, is the mineral profile of your water will actually prevent efficient extraction from your tea leaves. It's complicated. Go read. I got some blog posts. Let me know if you want to get into that because we can go, like talk for hours. That's why we made a course about it, which by the way, I'm trying to figure out how to make that course a little bit more like widespread friendly. So water wizardry friends, you will have access to the old course, but I think we have to make it just a tiny bit more, not 7 hours of water stuff. You can optionally just still access that, but I think there's so much we can talk about just to cover in like 2 hours that can get you up to speed, understanding why water makes tea dark, why water makes tea bitter, why water makes tea dry. Really important stuff. Plus tea pairings, water and tea pairings. I love it so much. Okay, let's see. Monomoku, official name is Spring. Very close. Keep going. Keep going. For the chat too. Tea Warrior, it's fun to push the green tea and see how it presents in bitterness. But sometimes bitter profile green tea feels rough in my gut and I'm not sure why. Ah, yes. I'd love to see your guess if you have one. What do you think that is? And then I'll share what I think it is. I'll give you a moment while I like enjoy the aftertaste. Good tea. It's delicious. Very fragrant. It's probably the most fragrant shincha we've had so far. This is actually one of the more like everyday grade shinchas we've had so far in my experience. The more everyday grade shinchas actually have more aroma, and then once you go up to like the more like high-end shincha, they actually tend to be more texture and umami, clear sweetness focused. So why does bitter profile green tea tend to be rough on the gut? I experience a lot of like sensitivity in my body also to tea, and yeah, extraction of polyphenols. I think I suspect that that's what it is because polyphenols are bitter compounds, bittersweet compounds, and they're astringent. They are very potent compounds, and that's why they're so flavorful, right? I think when we have too much of them, that's when our body can be kind of like out of whack. Um, I mean, you like drink tea with like floating leaves, right? Like they talk about like feeling of like tea and stuff like that. If you notice, a lot of the teas that happen to feel better in the body tend to be like old tree teas or like shaded teas, depending on the shade, like natural fog shaded, slow growing,
Elevation.
not as like elevations higher, etc. Like, and that's, I think that there is a connection in the amount of polyphenol versus the L-theanine in the tea. Typically older trees, thanks Jeffrey McIntosh. I just love being able to connect all of our teacher stuff into like a hypothesis. We learned from Jeffrey McIntosh that older tree stuff has a higher incidence of, or a lower incidence of polyphenol. So as a result, more of the other stuff, which is why it has a different taste, different feeling, and it tends to sit more comfortably in the stomach. So I'm like, I keep picking up that the polyphenol thing is tendencies are what tends to make people a little bit uncomfortable. And the whole like green oolong and green tea, people complain about the most about like having it on a empty stomach. Which type of tea has the most polyphenols in their like original state? It's green tea and green oolong. Should be white tea too. I just think not enough people drink white tea, so that doesn't show up as much and when people talk about it. But I think that's what it is. Just my guess. So, and then everything else in terms of like everything Floating Leaves talks about is a different like realm that we also feel like we need to dip our feet into. Honestly, we use our water so that we can study that shit better. Because I don't want the water to get in the way of getting to know a tea. That's a big part of what we're trying to do. So, and then like Kim says too, absolutely, it depends on each person's constitution. I think I was a little bit more stubborn about this. Like, theoretically, we're all human, right? We should experience the same thing from tea. I think I was a little bit like making a generalization. Some things that feel very comfortable for me tend to hit people who have a different constitution from me a little bit differently. Um, and that now goes into like traditional Chinese medicine ideas or just body ideas, right? What kind of body do you have? What do you gravitate to more? Like my friend Ken, who, I co-taught workshops with him at TNWS for so long. We would like go into like tea drunk battles. Like a tea that would make me feel very comfortable. I like slam it down on Ken, and then he's on the couch in like
La La Land.
3 minutes, like
Yeah.
in La La Land, like just like I'm like, what the? This
It's
tea
like
is
a super
so
clean,
it's
super
super clean
stable.
tea, super stable tea, because I get jittery easily with the wrong tea, and he's just up, like I just took him out, and then same thing with him, and he's like this like fast talking guy from New York, like very different personality from me. We love him so much. We make fun of him all the time. He makes fun of me. He attempts to, but he can't. Different constitution, right? Different personality, different constitution. I don't know like I'm not an expert in this stuff, but there's the idea that different personalities have different constitutions, right?
It's all just energy.
Or is it energy? I'm not sure. We kind of like live somewhere in the middle of like science or like floating up in
Other
space.
science.
Sure,
Yeah.
no problem. Other science, we can call it that. And then he puts down like it's usually some kind of Tibetan Fujuan or something, and he's like, "This is great. Retry it." And then 2 seconds later, my hands will get really cold, like chilled, And this is how I like to show people the concept of tea energy because I can't regulate my own hand temperature. I'm not like the Buddhist monks that I've heard can like regulate their like heart rate and temperature because they have such amazing awareness of their body. I'm very not that. I'm probably like very opposite. But the wrong tea will send me into like chills. And then people will touch my hands. I'm like, touch my hands. And I'm just like frozen. So I don't know. This is just me observing. I don't have any answers. That's just I think it's cool to just trade notes.
There are no answers.
Yeah. So it's cool to like trade notes and see what people say. And whenever I hear something like this, T4 like it's kind of fun to like see what's up, because it's another data point. And then some other times, like I will make an assumption, like, oh, old tree tea for our friend Christine, right? Like me and Christine have very similar reactions to tea. But then I took
Most of
her
the
out
time.
one time. Yeah, most of the time. I took her out one time with an old tree shang that I used to feel like comfortable and have my body feel like settled. Stomach is very good with it. It took her out. So I'm like, what is that? She did say she was tired. So then there's the person kind of coming into it too. And everything else. All this to say the water helps us now talk about this other fun stuff because we're not worrying about the water. Like I keep saying, when we're not doing these lives, when we're not developing a recipe, we don't mess with our water. We just let our water do what it needs to do because we know it will do good. That's what I want for you, is like, know your tools so that you can focus on this other stuff that is going on, all the beautiful, rich stuff happening in tea. I don't reject the uncontrolled variables in tea. I just figure we can control for what we know so that the unknowns we can kind of like play with more. Because until then, you might be fighting with your water. And I don't want to do that. Don't let your water sabotage your learning, you know? Okay. So,
Do you want some hot water to rinse the bowl?
yeah, they got some like tea stuff from the other day. Any questions about that? Any other like ideas? Thank you for going through this with us. It's really, really cool. So tea for your younger teas too, old trees but young harvested. Yeah, all of these like factors. And then so for you, you experience this green, white, and green oolong. And green shang, yes, which is also high in polyphenols. Makes you feel uncomfortable? Is that right? Same for us. Green oolong, and green shang tend to like get really, really mess me up sometimes. The wrong ones. So, and then conversely, once we've had like old tree green tea, like tea habitats, wild dragonwell, like wild harvested dragonwell, the most comfortable tea on an empty stomach. And sometimes I like intermittent fast, so I'll go like a while without eating. And then I'll drink a tea, and in theory, you're like, oh no, it's a green tea or green oolong, it's gonna like mess you up. I need to pick one that I know is gonna be, good. So, right, sound blends, many factors, how you feel, the environment, the weather, your situation, people you're around, right? Like, that's cool stuff. I like that stuff. So thank you for sharing your insights. Any other topics that come up? I've done these tests so many times. I can kind of like multitask. I think multitask is a bad word, right? There's all the studies like actually you can't multitask, but I also want to see if I can like ambiently get differences from these. We will be testing late tonight. So, T4 year, that's really cool to standardize your water, to give a blank slate. It's the hope. So yes, I wish I could drink more green sheng, but they mess me up usually. Yeah, Steven, you mind me like dropping your report on that?
Sure.
Steven used to like not drink pour for like a while.
I'm sensitive to teas.
He's quite sensitive to tea, yeah. And we were both are, but so we were at Northwest Tea Fest. We were at Northwest Tea Fest, and all Steven wanted to do was hang out with Shoan and Noah, which, right? Of course you want to, but like, I wanted Steven to try Denong's pour because I find, it really depends on the person. I'm becoming more like, because I used to be like, oh, it's good for me, so it should be good for you. It really depends on the person. But for me, Denong's pours have been like very, very comfy and very different from what I typically find in Sheng, which I don't typically like. So I like it. And Jeffrey from Macintosh Tea, who is now doing like he's amazing. He's kind of like
Solo project.
I learned about pour through him. I would say like so much, and him and Sohan and like Zhuang Tea is. I mean, anyway, he and I have very similar constitutions. I think. Like I tend to eat a lot of like plant stuff unless I'm stressed, and then I run cold. Jeffrey the same thing. He runs cold. So we, kind of like see if your tea purveyor has a similar constitution to you, and then you will find that you have more wins in finding the teas that sit correct with you. I know that sounds very like vague, but like, yeah. So I dragged Steven unwillingly from Floating Leaves' table, saying, Steven, we need to give up our seat. People need to drink with Shoan. Come on, Steven, let's go. So I dragged him to Denong, and he was like, I don't like pour. So he wasn't as whiny, but like, kind of. As whiny as Steven gets. So, and then he drank the shang that was at Denong that Jeffrey was pouring for them. And then I see like a friend, I forgot who it was, and then I turn around and like Steven's handing his credit card over and he's got like this fat like bag full of pour. I'm like, what the hell happened from 2 minutes ago? And he's like,
Then I'm,
it's good.
yeah.
He's like, I like it. So, and then Jeffrey's like, oh, no worries, Ree. I gave you a special gift because you bought enough tea. I'm like, what do you mean he bought enough tea? So we came home with some cakes.
And then we went to Zilong and had the same problem.
And then we went to Zolong and had the same problem. Another like
Clean. Pour
really
sauce.
clean pour. Like I really like their pour as well. So we drink. I never thought I would say this. Like 4 years ago, we drink sheng in the morning without eating anything, if it's the correct sheng. So maybe just to report, not to say you'll have the same experience, but a little bit, different kind of
Anecdotal.
anecdotal, right? Like I don't ever want to make people feel like our approach is the best. I think just what did you experience? I have the same experiences as you. Shang and me didn't get along for a while. I thought I wasn't a poor person. I like poor now. Poor is great. Really good. Yeah. And then original, going back to water, original as a recipe is terrible with young sheng that is high in polyphenols. It's really bad. So don't use
It shows
original.
flaws, that's all it is.
It
It's
just-
not the water is bad with the tea.
It extracts too much polyphenol from Yangsheng. It's very, very intense. And Yangsheng can have like flaws in the processing easily. It's just poor. There's so many factors. The average person, including myself, I would not use original with a typical Yangsheng. It's gonna be so bitter and harsh. It's gonna mess your stomach up, I'm sure, because the original pulls a lot of polyphenol. So autumn is actually the recipe I like to use for Yangsheng. That is a little harsh because autumn's mineral profile actually smooths out polyphenols. Like that's what it's designed to do, is to smooth out polyphenols, which is now it's up to you. Do you like the taste of smoothed out polyphenols? On the good side, you get less bitter, intense, kind of like sharp flavor, and you get more roundness, more sweetness, more toastiness. It's just more like mellowed out, more smooth, right? But on the flip side, it might read as a little bit too muting for you. For me, I like young sheng with autumn. I like that. Oh no, I'm not. Yeah, I was gonna weigh it. I was like, my body knew, like, something's wrong. Yeah. So, let's see. Thanks for trading notes with us. Let me know if you have any questions. Again, people who are coming in. We are just gonna test this Ikegawa Shinsha. It's delicious. We're gonna do a gram, Steven. I don't want to like stay up too late. So 1 gram to 100 ml.
Okay.
Yeah. Oops, I didn't tear that. Did I tear that? Okay, now I did. Oh, I did. See, my body knows how to do stuff without me being like conscious of it. Let's see. TV, you're talking about this Shang situation again. Oof, I tap out at 3 teas with Joanna and Noah. Yeah, that's true. We don't drink that much tea. People think we drink tea all day, but like we will only drink like a tea a day, 2 teas, unless we're doing this. I don't think. Yeah. Have you guys noticed like the longer that you drink tea, the less tea you need? I've noticed this. Like the longer that I spend drinking tea, I thought that like when I first started drinking tea, and that was like I could like slam like 10 teas a day, just like so excited with like the sample packs I was getting. Now like I could just have like 2 grams of a tea in one day and just like really steep it out, especially with our water, because our water is very efficient. It's great, and it also helps with the wallet, to be honest, because we do drink a lot of like old tree things. I just like I'm in that mode right now. I'm going through like an old tree phase. I think I'm slowly going into a Japanese tea phase, which is why we're doing this formula. Thanks to like Japanese tea marathon from last year. It's just so cool, and I've just neglected Japanese green tea for so long. Partially because of the issues I was having with like green tea and empty stomach kind of stuff. So now I'm back. Now I really like Japanese green. I like all tea as long as it's tasty, you know. Dino, nice to see you. Welcome, Andrew. Hello, how's it going? Good morning. Friends from all over. So wonderful. Yeah, we're still here. we're still alive. We're working towards the last iteration of our recipe today. So we have a lot of testing to do tonight, but I'm feeling pretty happy. I was mentioning what happened during our group tasting on Tuesday. Fantastic. It wasn't like a clean sweep. Like our water still got bested by the RO a couple times. Yeah, go ahead. But good stuff.
Keep them in the
Hope you guys are doing well. Mario, welcome. Let's see. So Tipo here again.
Keep them in the same order. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What young Sheng or what Sheng works for you in the morning? Yeah, the old tree stuff from Denong, Zhuoang stuff, West China stuff. Depending on the West China, I think after a certain point, the old tree stuff can also reach this area that is very like almost metaphysical kind of levels of like what the hell. This is why Sohan has an advanced kung fu class, and it's just you just have to get to know the tea really well. But most of Sohan's like pour is very comfy to have. His shoe pour is my favorite. But the Nano like blend from Sohan is beautiful in the morning. Denang Old Tree is the most common for us though, I would say. No random Yangsheng. Like if Steven gives me random Yangsheng, I'm gonna get mad. We get mad because the body doesn't want it, right? Like, oh no. But if it's Yangsheng, I will brew it later in the day with autumn, is what I like. Because autumn brings out that nice, like uniquely fruity, like floral aftertaste, almost like incense-like from Sheng. Really nice. Really nice. So for you, you're saying Yunwei tea? Yunwei tea is buying Old Tree 2018 Benshan varietal Sheng. It's one of the few that actually mellows me out and I can drink on an empty stomach. Yeah. I'm kind of not surprised because I met Yunwei. His name Eric? I forgot. I'm sorry, don't tell that person if they're not Eric, but the friend that I met who introduced him to me has the same taste in Sheng and pour in general that we do. So it's kind of like this, like, find the people who are like a little similar to you, and then you'll find that their tea recommendations are kind of on point. So I've been wanting to, yeah, it is Eric. Okay, I've been wanting to talk to him for a long time. I just haven't seen him since Northwest Tea
Gina
Fest.
really likes that tea.
That's who I was talking
Gina
to.
cares.
That's who I was talking to. Yeah, Gina has a very similar like constitution to us.
Sensitive.
Sensitive, yeah, sensitive. So, yeah. Mario, welcome. Akilo, welcome. Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, not very many. Yeah. Question for folks who are still
I want to pass you up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There's 4.
Coming in, you guys, how many teas do you have in a day? We've been asking this like for a little bit. Like, people think that we tea people have like a lot of tea per day, but it actually depends. I think I have some friends who are like gonna nosh all day, and that's more well known, But actually, there's also a subset of us that
Literally.
decidedly do not nosh all day. Different constitutions, right? We buy more than we can drink too. I'm still drinking teas from like 10 years ago. From like 2010 Tea Masters Baozong. That's still in the original container. I'm very guilty of all the tea since. All of them.
Home aged.
Yeah. Good morning, Andrew. How's it going? How goes the testing? Did you change your formula? Yeah. We changed a little bit. Oh, yeah, we changed which formula we prefer. So on, what is that, Monday? Monday we had Fluffy. Remember Fluffy? Fluffy did really well during that tasting, so that was fantastic. Today we were just doing variations on Fluffy. Just to talk about what these variations are. Let's go back to the water. Can I get like the camera tilted a little bit, Steven, so I can show this? No, the other camera. Thanks. Just so I can, let's see. There we go. So there's 4 bowls I have here. I'm not gonna be able to show all of them, but these are all variations on what we have decided to call Fluffy as like a nickname. This is based on the Japan Northern Alps water that we had, the Hida Tendensui. I finally said it right this time. Forgot. Like, I keep switching out.
Sway.
Yeah. Too many languages. So this is Fluffy. 1 times Fluffy 0.5. So this is the recipe we found on Monday that we really liked. That we kind of started by reverse engineering that Japanese water, the Northern Alps water. We didn't quite hit it. So I made some adjustments to that recipe to kind of improve on what we had. And what we had was really good. So a lot of kind of misses. And then what happened was when we tried to make the water ourselves, copying in theory what that mineral water was, using the same like mineral profiles, it's not an exact science. I'm gonna be honest with you. Our version, even using the same main ions, was more dry and astringent. So I need to fix that. I have some ideas on how to fix that so we can really recreate natural waters. But that's for another project. But we ended up finding this fluffy, right? The fluffy kind of taste like profile that was good. And now we have to adjust different ways of adding the main mineral components of what we find is like changes tea a lot. So let me explain that a little bit more. When you're looking at a water formula, in my opinion, I think that there's some like debate to this. So don't think that I'm the only one who knows or my opinion is like the end all be all. I think my information is extremely well researched and well tested. Even so, we are biased and I'm not perfect, you know. There's so many opinions on this. I think that the most important mineral components of a water are calcium and bicarbonate. And calcium is calcium, right? And bicarbonate is it's an ion. Ion meaning like a charged element that goes into the water more or less at the same time that calcium enters the water as it travels through nature. What calcium does is it tends to limit or change how much you're able to extract from your tea because calcium can kind of like interact with compounds in the tea leaves quite a bit. It does a lot. So calcium's very important. Again, if you want to read more, I have a blog post on it somewhere on the site. And then bicarbonate, that other ion that we don't hear about a lot, bicarbonate is what I consider to be roughly correlated with the pH of the water. And the pH of your water, and thereby, let's talk roughly, the amount of bicarbonate in your water will change how intact your polyphenols are. Remember, polyphenols are the most abundant compound in tea. 30 to 40% of a dry leaf's weight. It's a lot. Bittersweet, also responsible for sweet aftertaste though. So we don't want to destroy all the polyphenols. It depends on what you like, right? Bicarbonate can degrade those polyphenols. So you can change the original taste of a polyphenol, which is like the bittersweet, edgy, sharp, what you taste in green tea, right? And it will degrade it. So it becomes more floral, and then fruity, and then nutty, and then earthy. That sounds familiar, that progression of floral, darker, fruity, darker, nutty, darker, earthy. That sounds like tea processing, doesn't it? Like going from like green to oolong to black to like, pour. That's because if you think about it, tea makers are working with polyphenols when they process tea too. As you go from green tea with the original polyphenols, which are called catechins, and if this is like getting overwhelming, just pick up what you can, and then you'll eventually pick up on the rest. But if you're following, keep following. Green tea has catechins, right? That's the original form of the polyphenols in tea. Like when you pick a tea plant, there's catechins already inside. As tea makers brew the leaves, those polyphenols change because they're exposed to air. So they become from catechins to become a different kind of catechin, and then they become theaflavins, right? There's some steps in the middle, which is oolong, right? So the tea maker is changing that specific flavor compound along with everything else in the tea. Tea chemistry is so complicated, which is why it's so awesome. It will change what you're tasting from those polyphenols. So, question then, if original maintains the original polyphenols and tastes more like grassy, bittersweet, floral, what does autumn do to the polyphenols if it degrades them? What flavors would you expect from a water that degrades polyphenols? What flavors would you expect? If you have autumn, you already know because you've tasted it, right? What would you expect to happen? You know? So just for example, right? It's a test. So if you want to guess, try to make a guess. Yeah. And if those of you who've heard me talk about this, just practice. You know, like it's complicated stuff. It's good to hear it again, I think. Okay, let's test these. I let the tea sit a little longer than I wanted to because I just got too excited talking about processing. This is fluffy 1x. I honestly let this sit a little long, so I need to adjust. It's good. I like it. I think I let it sit too long, in my opinion. Sorry. Because I think it's a little, like, drying. That's my bad. I think the second one should be okay, though. I'll test the other ones also while waiting. This is what we're thinking is going to be the recipe. It's delicious. This is why I'm so comfortable tonight. It's so good. That's so ridiculous. Are you kidding me? Wow, okay, so this is what I think will be the recipe. If we stop here tonight, which there's a good chance because we've done these variations before. I'm not as happy with them, but I want to test them some more. It's so smooth and like the umami is so good. Like just so satisfying. It's almost like when you have like a clear like dashi broth. It's not that umami because dashi broth is fucking umami, right? But like that like clear present umami that lingers and then like keeps going. I think this water is able to pull it from a tea, and I like that a lot. Our current formulas aren't equipped to do that. Original is more about like the poppy, vibrant flavors. Autumn is more about like the bassy. Oh, sorry, I was asking that question to see if anyone would like to go. But umami is good, very satisfying, and very gentle. I think it's fantastic. Really, really good. Good stuff. It just makes sense. It just makes sense. It's good. It's good. What happened with the cold? I let the first iteration go a little bit too long. I think trying to adjust for it, I think it's good. There's just not enough umami in it. You know, which umami will maintain even if the tea goes a little cold. I think it's good. It's just this is so good in comparison. Now this is a variation on the fluffy recipe, the prototype. This we changed the calcium and magnesium ratio. Very small adjustment, but it is going to make a difference. So this is more magnesium, right?
Yes.
I kind of like it. I think that's an approach, dude. I wonder if you should go this way. This is the variation I have liked the most. Like this is first, this is second. These are tied actually. But with this tea, the innate like nuttiness of this tea is working really well with the magnesium being higher. So instead of having as much calcium, I use more magnesium because calcium again is very reactive. So I want to make it more gentle. I think it might be a little bit too warm though. It's very warm. It's reading warm. Like more toasty, more nutty, more like dark savory rather than like fresh. Which I understand why. Like I think it's a sulfate in it. It's another mineral.
It's also
minor mineral.
how it's performing with a specific tea.
Yeah, right. And I mean, to be fair, I think, you know, it is cool. It is a more recent steep, but like, as I'm tasting it, I think it's just more warm. It's more nutty. Like, I want this for Dragonelle. Right? I think this is a better choice for like a Japanese green tea.
It's almost making it taste like a Dragon Ball.
Yeah. It's so obvious the nuttiness, right? Such a small difference. Jeez. This one's more sweet, a little bit more sharp. This one's very round and warm. Andrew's saying, I like waters with higher magnesium. Yeah, that's what we're trying to like see if we will make a high magnesium water. Our ratios in our formulas tend to have more magnesium anyway, because I like magnesium. I just don't know if it's working for this recipe. And then we looked at Japanese waters, and it tends to be that they have a pretty high, relatively high ratio of calcium to magnesium. Some geological like water terroirs have a little bit more magnesium, but Japan typically a little bit more calcium. I wonder what that is. Aftertaste is beautiful though, but it still tastes like a Chinese green tea. More like a Chinese green tea. Last one. So this one is we put a tiny bit of potassium in it because right now the formula that we think we're gonna go with has no potassium. I wanted to do this because the Japanese waters we have been looking at have a tiny bit of potassium, so we'll see. See, I don't like that. I wonder that if we have something in the middle of these, Steven. What do you think? Like, let's see if we... This is something I do sometimes, is I'll combine the two... Oh, it's gonna be too much.
Overflow, yeah.
Yeah, no, I got it. Don't worry. I will combine two bowls to see, like, roughly what the performance is. That could work. It's not as umami, though. So... maybe not.
It's also back to the same amounts of magnesium, calcium.
Right, right. So this is fluffy 0.5, right?
Which one? Number
Fluffy
2.
0.5, but the potassium is higher, right?
Yes, it's targeting the same alkalinity.
Yeah. So combining them, I think it's okay. I just think it makes sense already, right?
If we want to roll with it, we need to test it with more different teas. That's
Right.
the thing.
Right. I think I want to throw out this variation. I don't think it's very strong.
It hasn't
It hasn't ever.
done well.
It's
in any
it's
of
consistently
our
the worst so far. I think that I want to have like instead of we'll make a fourth variation still, but replace this with like magnesium is higher, and then put the potassium back in.
Yeah.
What do you
Agree.
think? Agree? Yeah. Because I like this roundness thing going on here, but or maybe like reduce how much magnesium there is. Because it's just so much. It's just so warm.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that warm. It's spring. It's a spring, like
Yeah.
inspired water. I don't want it to be too hot. I almost said the name of the recipe again. I was like, so good stuff. Yeah, we need some more data. So we'll keep this because this is okay. Just it didn't do good. It just made this.
We have liked it a lot for other teas, so we need to see how.
I like how it performs with this tea. Is it just too nutty? Right. I haven't heard anyone say that they want nuttiness in their shinja.
Right.
Right. So I also want to test this with a sencha because we found out in our testing that like I think shincha prefers a lighter water than sencha. Do you want to use the Miyazaki sencha from last year? I
Sure.
like that tea a lot. It's my fave. Do you still have Koyu or are we out?
We're
Okay, we'll do the Miyazaki, the Miyakanojo. Okay, so we can throw out at least this variation. We'll at least do one more test on live, so if you're hanging out, feel free. Hope you guys are doing okay. Any questions, let me know. I think no one was brave enough to answer my question about the tea processing.
What'd you
But
ask?
if polyphenols are degraded, what flavors do they present? And when polyphenols degrade, they present like more fruity flavors. More like fruity into malty, nutty, into like earthy. So, but mostly fruity is what we've seen from the amount of like what our waters can do. Okay, so this is good. Let's move on to a different tea. Keeping these, so fluffy 1 times, fluffy 0.5, and then this is a higher magnesium level. But I like that you've shared that you like the higher magnesium waters, Andrew. I'm kind of like trying to keep it in mind because I have wanted to have a higher magnesium water. I just don't know if this is the right recipe for it. Okay, ready? Shall we?
Yep.
Okay. You want to keep these? We have another bowl, right? Make some like drinks tomorrow
Sure.
over there. Cool. How are you guys doing? Hope you're doing okay. I'm pretty happy. That's why I'm like quite like this. I'm feeling good about it. So tomorrow, at 5 p.m. tomorrow. It's gonna be in like 18 hours, 20 hours. We'll be debuting this with a small live audience in a formal, like, actual workshop setting. So I need to make Leo's teas taste very good. Because he's trying to show off his new Shincha. That's what I want it to do. And then now we know that, like, Shincha actually likes slightly lighter water. So this is something that we found out from the tasting, is that Fluffy and Fluffy Point 5 actually performed worse than Aro water for Shincha. Isn't that interesting? We like the Shincha better with Aro water, except for Steven. But
I still hesitate to make that statement because we haven't tested it with a high number of teas.
you're right. So I wonder if then we should, at some point, I'm not sure if we'll do it on the stream. How about we test this one more time with the Aro water?
Sure.
The specific Shincha.
Sure.
Do it right now? Yeah.
Okay.
One more. Because what we found in the blind tasting was that our recipe performed amazingly with Sencha, and then performed amazingly with Shincha, but Aro water was better than it with Shincha, which is a problem. with one Shincha, yeah. We had more data for the Sencha. I'm not saying that we like are super like. We try our best to like use scientific method, but it's not like I have like a sample size of 200 with like, you know, significance threshold or whatever, but we do need to test out more just so we can. Yeah. So we will test out this, which by the way, for you guys coming in, this is the Ikegawa Tea Farm First Flush Sencha. Hiri no Kaori is from Yunomi. Awesome. We really, really like it. It's delicious. It's from Kochi. It's good. It's quite. I like it. I don't know how to describe it. It's like it's a little bit more nutty than the other senchas or shincha we've had so far. There's like a nice like weightiness to it. I like the texture on it. It's quite rich. It's good. I like it. It's good. It's good. We'll try it one more time with Aro water, just to make sure that it's not the one we like the most. We'll let it sit for a little bit, and then we'll move on to a sencha, because I want our recipe to also do good for just regular sencha, not just shincha. Knowing that what I've learned is that I shouldn't conflate shincha with sencha in terms of like performance. Then tomorrow probably it's gonna be too late. I'm really happy with the recipe, to be honest, but I want to see how it performs with Gyokura. Do we have a Gyokura?
This is shaded.
That's true. The Miyazaki is so close to being like it's so it like is almost better than it is better than like Gyokura. It's not a Gyokura, but
Could be the best Japanese tea.
you're biased.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Andrew's coming it up with it. How you tested your formula with Gyokura. This specific tea that we're about to brew is not a Gyokura, but it's very, very, very like umami. Leo and I have talked about it. Leo at Tea and Whisk. We've said that we agree that sometimes it is a lot of the times the umami of this sencha is better than a Gyokura. Just the clarity of it, the smoothness of it, the balance of it. If you brew it really low, yeah, it's very tasty. So I think this will be good to try with. But I haven't tested it. I haven't tested this formula with Gyokura. This recipe though is what I imagined I wanted to use for Gyokura when I was like developing like recipes. So I have some confidence it will do relatively well. Okay.
1 more gram of this.
Yeah. So we'll try this out with the RO water really quick. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me about the Gyokura though. I think it'll be good, honestly. I mean, what we can do is we can brew the Miyazaki at a low temperature.
Sure. We usually boil it. So.
We usually boil that tea, yeah. Like, I brew it out of boiling. So, let's say hi to friends. Beefioka, welcome. Quint, Amber, it's been so long. Emily, welcome. We are on test 2 tonight. I'm about to test the this tea with RO water. Just to make sure that our formula doesn't get beaten by RO water again, like it did on Tuesday with the one shincha. Just to double check. Hope you guys are doing okay still. I'm excited. I'm so excited about this water. I'm very proud of it. We are very proud of it. Steven and I are an entity, so the conglomerate of Steven and Ree. Actually, when I'm live, I talk like I'm just Ree, but when I say, "Hey Steven, how's it going?" Hi Steven.
Hey.
That's actually me. Just generating the voice to make you feel like I'm not just testing by myself. And then as to how I get this water world off screen, that's just a manifestation of me too. I know where I'm going with that. Oh man, I almost killed my other manifestation during this heat situation. That's not true. We did okay, all things considered, but we definitely like got mad about little tiny things when like the heat, our AC broke.
It's fine now.
It's fine now, but like you forget how amazing, because we don't run the AC that cold. We just have it enough. But when it's gone, you're like,
I hate everything.
I hate everything. And I grew up in the Philippines, where like sometimes we would have like no electricity for like 5 days. Sometimes. That's a long one, 5 days, but sometimes, you know? So it's very hot, but I think I still handle the heat relatively well, but man. It was so dry, so hot. 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 37, 38 degrees Celsius weather. It was hot. Yeah. So let's see how this tea performs with the Aro water, then we'll move on to that Miyazaki Sencha. One of my favorite Japanese teas. We know it really, really well. We will brew it. What do you think, Matthew? Matthew. I don't know why Matthew. Andrew. Matthew Stevens' nephew. Which I think I'm thinking about him because I want him to test this recipe. Because he is like the lower temperature green tea brews. Remember that he's very sensitive to bitterness. But Andrew, what do you think? If we brew this at low temperature, I think we can kind of almost emulate the Gyokuro effect. This is a shaded sencha also. Yeah. So we'll try it out. Montrose Biology, welcome. Ron Sonko, welcome. We're just testing our water recipe, 20 hours until I debut it live, but I want this to be live on the website tomorrow, so Steven and I will be up late getting this ready. So if you want to pick it up, make sure you're on the email list, the main Tea Heroes email list. I have like a cheesy guide that I send out on my website. So if you already know how to buy tea, just suffer through my guide, so you'll be on the email list. Or just email, like, or message me and I can add you to the list. Yeah. Or just show up tomorrow and it'll be live on Instagram in some way. I don't know. We haven't taken the product photos yet. We haven't made the product page yet. We had the labels. Yeah. Ree and Steven are just gonna be busy. We lost 2 days because of the AC situation. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. This is good. Steven looks grumpy. So this is the tea that we were testing earlier against Aro to see how good it is.
It's not a side-by-side anymore.
It's pretty good, though. I think it's pretty good. I suspect that my recommendation will be, because this is good, but it's not perfect. If you pick up this water tomorrow, we'll go on the site. I recommend using like 0.5 dose of it. So that for Shincha, because Shincha, it's a different tea from Sencha. You know, harvested a little bit earlier in the season. A little smaller, younger leaves, so like the L-theanine will be a little higher, polyphenol a little lower. You know, right? I don't even know. I like just spat that out. I don't actually know how like Shincha and Sencha differ, and like that's my guess. But something about it. How do you figure that out? Something about it.
But it's not going to change if you get Shinsha and don't drink it for 3 months, and then it's not Shinsha anymore.
No, it'll still be Shincha. Things will change in it, but
Different
like
people argue about that. If it's
I mean,
like early harvest, but you don't drink it
right,
immediately,
but what I
it
mean
still
is a polyphenol versus like L-theanine count
right.
is gonna be distinctive for Shincha. Yes, it will degrade over time, but like I actually wonder. I wonder if Shincha has more polyphenol actually, because that's maybe why it's preferring No, see, I don't know. Don't let me talk out of my ass. I have to like look that up.
You're
How
just saying
does
things.
I know? I'm just guessing out loud. How does Shinsha differ on a like
Molecular,
flavor
yeah.
flavor chemical level from Sencha?
Like
It's
what are the
earlier
plants putting into
harvest,
the leaves at that time?
right? 'Cause it's earlier harvest. It's gonna be less hot, more likelihood for fog, which tells me polyphenol count will be lower. But since it's so new, because it's first flush, does that mean that polyphenol count is higher because the plant has been like saving up more? So I'm not sure what that is. I'm not sure where that's
They
gonna
just
land.
cancel out. It's Shinja's the same as any other day.
Yeah. But for whatever reason, I think Shincha from our one test, which was a very good test, tends to like slightly lighter water. It was good. You like it?
Yeah, it's
It's
good.
pretty good, dude. I'm kind of mad. So 0.5 of the formula, just so you're a little closer to Oro, because this is good. The aftertaste is amazing. What I like about it is very clear, clean. It tastes like original, because original kind of is in the same neighborhood of like clear, clean, and a little bit harsh-ish, but like just to bring out more high definition like fidelity in the tea. I would put a tiny bit of mineral content to smooth it out a little bit. It's a little bit too grippy. It's like doing the astringent thing, which I don't mind as much. A good astringency, good bitterness, good astringency. I don't mind as much, but this needs to like for it to be a little bit more friendly, needs a little bit of mineral content, I would say. But the aftertaste is really cool. Literally cooling. A lot of like Hoyin going on in it. Honestly, I think I like that better than the zero point 0.5 fluffy even. So maybe 0.25 fluffy will be good with that. We had to like run that test too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next tea. We'll do the Miyazaki. Sencha. Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that tea so much. Okay, so this is a tea from Miyazaki. This is amazing. We did a group buy with Yanoko like 2 years ago. It was dope. It was really good. Um, so if you kind of hopped on that, all of us were just like
Losing our mind.
losing our minds in the Discord at how good this tea was. Most of us, not everyone. And then some people are like, nah, I don't like it. Then everyone who liked it was like, please just send me the rest of what you have. It's just amazing. Everyone's different, like I said. But I lost my mind over it too.
How much do you need? I don't know how much is in here.
Yeah, so this is a year old. A year old? 2 years old?
This is 2020.
Dude, 2 years old. Okay, good. Because I want it to be a little bit older too.
Smells like it.
Still
Like
fresh.
yesterday.
Yeah. To be fair, our green teas here in Vegas don't degrade as much because our humidity is very low. So the whole, you've heard me talk about like aged green tea and how I don't mind tea, like green tea getting older. I still believe that, but I also think that Vegas is a little slower in the green tea like change because of our humidity and stuff. We hover around like 15%, 20% humidity here. 20 is a like hot, like high humidity day.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's around there. Okay, so 1 gram of this Miyako Sencha from Miyazaki.
Same water?
Yes. And then we'll change the variation, Stephen. Are you gonna make that new variation? The magnesium is high and also a little bit of potassium.
I can't right now.
You can just add a tiny bit of potassium to the.
It's gonna throw something like that. Oh, I guess I'll try.
We should do it
Okay.
if you can. Okay. What's up?
Am I adding magnesium to this one? Or adding potassium to this one?
Add potassium to that one. Unless you want to just like
Will we be
do it
done
from
with
scratch.
tests?
Huh?
Are we done with tests after this one?
You can just split those. Like toss out the fourth one because we don't want any more, right? and then split the magnesium high one into like 2 glasses so that we have 2 iterations of it. This is the only reason why I dated Steven, by the way. I looked at the guy and I was like, this guy is gonna make really, really good water experiments. I'm gonna ask him out. That's true. Steven is a very good tea brewer.
Those two.
Stop holding it over me, bro. I asked him out. I still think he wanted me to ask him out secretly. He said he would have asked me out. It would have just taken like 6 months. I'm like,
Not 6.
you said 6, and then you shortened it to like 3, and I'm like, your number keeps changing, broski.
Trying to be respectful of your.
I had just broken up with a long-term like ex, and then pretty quickly asked Steven out. I kind of like just wait. This is getting like personal tea time, Chuva, but it's okay. I don't mind. I tend to like run to the relationship as much as I can, like do as much as possible to like make the relationship work until I hit like a point that's a little bit over. Like I did a little bit too much, and then I'm like drop it like a hot potato, and then it's done. Like I'm not gonna go back. I'm not gonna look back. I'm not gonna miss the person. It's just over. So I asked Steven like out after that situation. It was like a prolonged breakup, like 3-month long breakup, and like multiple warnings for it to like be almost done. And then I told my best friend, like, yep, I broke up with him. And Micah was like, cool. And I told her, yeah, I'm gonna ask Steven out now. She's like, what? Are you fucking crazy? Are you sure? It's my best friend from like, we've known each other since we were 5. So she's just looking out for me, but you know, it's worked out, right, Steven?
Yeah.
That's a stupid question. Oh man. You guys have any like people you know who met through tea? It's another like favorite topic, I think, in the tea industry. It's like, ooh, tea couples. I didn't set out to like have it be like that, but Steven and I literally met at a tea shop, so it's like inevitable, right?
So keep these in the same order.
Yes. Thanks for like hanging out and like testing with us. This is really fun
Like
to
an hour
do.
and a half into this stream.
I know, right? Like I said,
Topics change into.
I know, right? Well, this is us being all like comfortable now with like just I'm just happy this recipe is going well, so that's why I'm all chill. And I want you to see exactly what we do. This is exactly what we would do off camera. I'd probably be a little bit more focused.
All this like
But
no, just put like a tiny bit of potassium and all that. Like,
yes, the same thing, yeah. So I want to be able to look back on this and be like, that's exactly how I did it. So you know exactly what happens with us too. So this tea is amazing. It is a sencha, but it is so sweet and umami and rich and delicate and sparkly and nuanced, and it for me it's a tea that rings like a bell, like the most clear, clean bell on like a morning day, like on a like a cool morning, and it goes ding, ding, like with like a echoing feeling to it. And what I mean by that is like it's just got so much brightness and so much joy in the flavor profile without being harsh. It's just delicious. So more on the light notes. It's got a lot of definition. It's one of those teas that doesn't have a lot of tasting notes, to be honest. I find that like, to be honest, like the higher quality the tea, the less you're able to get specific tasting notes out of them. I think because then the focus shifts a little bit to the texture, and just like the purity of the tea. That's just me though. Maybe you would have an easier time pulling out flavor notes from this, but I have a difficult time assigning specific like vegetable or fruit flavor notes to this tea. It just tastes like a good morning. Good stuff. Delicious. So what I want, I'm going to make a hypothesis. I didn't do that with the last tea because I didn't know it as well. But now I know this tea really well. I want the water that's good, to bring out that really beautiful bell-like clarity in this tea. Clean, clear, sweet. And then make the umami not muddled. I don't want it to be like overly brothy. I want it to have that brothiness, but in like again in the Japanese dashi broth way. If anyone cooks with like dashi or has worked with Japanese food before, dashi is depending on the dashi, right? But like you do want your dashi to be more clean and less like it's not as like basey and like rich as like beef stock or like chicken stock, you know? I don't know. That's what I get at least from it. So I want some of that. So balance, right? I want balance. And I want the finish to not be overbearingly sweet, which that came up on Tuesday is I think was it Leo who said that there was one iteration of the waters we made that was too sweet on the finish. And I agree with him. I think a finish can be too sweet, like overbearing, right? Like when you have like ice cream and it's just mostly sweet. That's when sweet can like not be good. So that's what I'm looking for. So hopefully this will come out. Okay, let's make sure that we taste these on time.
It is a plant after all. It should taste like a plant.
Yeah, that's my opinion. Is I don't like it when the tea doesn't taste like tea anymore. I want it to taste like a plant still. Depending, you know. I don't have anything against like flavored teas. Like I'm still waiting for the Sakura Sencha from Dens to come up. That tea is so delicious. I also really like Konishi-san's Yuzu black tea from Jasmine Pearl. Dope tea, amazing. Yeah, I like blended teas very well. I also really like it doesn't have Camellia sinensis in it, but still tea. Okay. Herbal tea from Friday Afternoon Tea. Her Warrior Princess is amazing. Super good. Just so delicious. This tea is so good! This tea is amazing.
2 years old.
It's so stupid. This tea is so good. That's so delicious. I hate this tea. This tea's so dumb. What's the temperature we're using?
85.
Oh, we're supposed to drop. Oh, we're gonna drop it in on a different round. This is amazing. Oh my god, it's almost like you made soup stock using like snow peas. It's so crisp and fresh. Tastes like the garden, but it's so umami and like brothy. Like if you could squeeze as much umami as a dashi, like a Japanese broth, from vegetables. But it's not mushroomy, you know, like it's so good. That's ridiculous. It tastes like like sugar snap peas, like snow peas from the garden, which I'm surprised there's a note that I was able to pull out. Right, Steven?
It's really good.
Snow peas? You get the snow peas thing? Like peas. Like, you know, the farmer's market when they have those peas
Yeah.
and we're eating them like
I can
raw?
do that.
Yeah, okay.
Not on the initial, but it transforms into that after 10 seconds.
Oh, I get it immediately.
Really?
Yeah. And then it does fade out. Now, I think that this is a tiny bit astringent. I don't think it's astringent in itself, but because we're testing such similar waters, it leans very slightly astringent, and that's why we have Fluffy 0.5. Because I think that got rid of the very slight astringency.
Did you try this?
Unpleasant astringency, by the way. I don't mind, like, strategic amounts of astringency. So let me move on to this next one. This is Fluffy 0.5. This is our favorite water so far. Let's see how it does with the Miyako Nojo. I like this better.
Where's this spoon for that one?
Over here. I like this better. Really? Interesting. I like this better. That's throwing me off.
Try that one.
Okay, okay. So this is so that's the first time I haven't liked Fluffy 0.5 as much as the full version. So this is a variation with higher magnesium. So Andrew, if you're still here, maybe this will go well if Steven likes it. That's good.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's good. A little warm though. Still feels too warm, but that's good. I actually like this better than this. And then this last one is this with potassium, because so far the rest of the three don't actually have potassium in the recipe. Potassium being a very typical mineral to find in water. I actually like that. They're just a little sharp.
Yeah. Number 3.
That's just like this, but worse. So
Yeah.
this is the better one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So let me let that sit for a little bit. Let me read chat. Super is funny. You kept me company while I was supervising your 3-year-old. Oh my gosh. I remember when you just had your 3-year-old when she was in the tub. I can't get engrossed in reading, but staring at her can get boring, so this is fun. I'm glad that she can be boring. That's good news, right? Because if your 3-year-old is not boring, sometimes you don't get enough rest, Mom. Yeah. Yep. So we're talking about umami, subtle mouth-washing umami. Yeah, just very like clean, clear is what we're looking for, which I think this one has. And this one is actually cleaner, but this is just so brothy. It's beautiful. Annabelle, welcome. RT, welcome. Brahmi boy, welcome. Still testing. This is a Miyazaki sencha. From 2 years ago. We on purpose wanted to use like an older sencha, not a shinsha. Something that's sat a little bit. And Vegas has good storage conditions, so this is not as degraded as a sencha as you might think for being 2 years old. I'm coming into like a challenge now because this is better this time. But this is a situation where then the power of the T-Curious system, what I like about our friggin' droppers, okay, is that you can vary the dose. Because now I know I would actually use 2 times dose for this tea if you wanted to. Because this is the same formula, but this is doubled, and this is halved, and this is the same amount. I like this a lot. Do you think you like this a lot the most? What about this one?
That one.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. What do we do?
It's okay to disagree.
What do I want though? I'm like, this tea is very personal to me, so this is a big like hurdle that I can't have both. Just have to make some decisions. That's gorgeous. This is so good. That's very good.
Alright, let's try it again. Tea is so good.
That's good too, though. I'm honestly okay with that result. I do think it's the weakest out of the 3, but then you can just double it to get the one that we like. I don't think it's weak by any means. I think it's delicious. It's just, again, we're nitpicking,
I like
right?
this one the best.
Let's keep testing then, right? After this.
Mhm.
I just need more data. So, should we use that Hisoka? Not the Hisoka, but the earliest pick. So that's such a specific green tea though.
Let's not test that one. Let's just enjoy that one.
No, not the one that canister. The Yakushima early harvest 20-gram packet. So we tried the Yakushima Hachimanju Sencha the other day. This one's a little bit higher grade. But we're learning that the higher grade stuff wants like lighter water. So
In any tea category.
should we do this one? Is there another sencha we can test?
Is this the sencha or a shinsha?
It's a shincha. That's the earliest
Yeah.
harvest from Yakushima Hachimanju. So we tried a tea from this producer in this area before, like a couple days ago, like on Monday.
Only 20 grams.
That's why we got them both.
Yeah.
We had to get to know the tea though. Should we just try like that tea that we know well? We're running out of sencha. Which, by the way, Rami was saying might be interesting to test Gyokuros with this. How about we run this test with the Miyazaki, but at very, very low temp, like 60. I'm curious. That's the closest we have to a Gyokuro. I don't have a Gyokuro right now, but we were just saying this sencha is so umami, it can beat out certain Gyokuros. It's not a Gyokuro, but it's a shaded sencha that is delicious, and the quality of the umami is very, very good. So maybe we can do that, Steven.
Okay.
What do you think? Curious, what temperature do you use for your Gyokuro? Because I would be inclined to use 60 Celsius. Is that 140 degrees Fahrenheit? But I know some people go like 120 degrees Fahrenheit, which I am not. I honestly don't have. I haven't found the temperature I like Gyokuro at yet. I I do like Gyokuro when it is at boiling. I know that's like
There's
sacrilegious,
no rules.
but I like the rich umami plus the catechin combo. It's just so delicious. But I'm not sure which I like better between 120 and 140 degrees Fahrenheit for Gyokuro. So I'm curious to see if
Let's
anyone
take a
has an
vote.
idea. And if no one has an opinion, then we'll boil it. I'm just kidding. Yeah. Oh, having some shucha. Cool, cool. Shagwan, my nemesis. Me and Shagwan are like getting to know each other better. So let's see. Oh, you work for Density? We've been using your friggin' Hashiri Shincha for a lot of these tests, broski. That's awesome. We have been talking so awesomely about Density the last couple. You guys are like my first Japanese tea love. Thank you. Wow. It's like meaning like a long lost love. See how much tea we've gone through in like a week? This is your 56-gram bag. I think we have like 10 grams of it left. So we loved having just like a nice, standard, straightforward shinja. Not to say it's bad. I think it's fantastic. But like a
Our
shizuoka,
standard is a very high quality.
yabukicha, you know,
To call
yeah,
it standard
right,
is-
right, right.
it's a
So
compliment.
thank you so much. This is amazing. How do you like the shincha? I haven't gotten the Hachiju Hachiya one, the 88th night one. We just wanted one because we have so much tea. But this was really, really amazing. So yeah, Density's awesome. Density, by the way, is a US based company. One of the most like OG ones, in my opinion. You guys have been around for so long. I remember picking up Density. The reason why it's my first love is I think they had like a sample set in like 2011 or something like that. Try Japanese green tea. It had a sencha, genmaicha, hojicha, probably like a cookie-cha or something like that, and it has like a sample set. And it was all good. So I'm glad because I got into Japanese green tea because of them. So, yeah. So let's try that Miyako Nojo at
Sure.
temperature. Temperature 160 degrees Fahrenheit to get close to max umami without the polyphenol bleed. Yes, yes, I agree. When I did the Gyokuro 5 Ways, this is TiVo year by the way, tasting at Northwest Tea Fest. Gyokuro 5 Ways, that sounds so fun. The boiled flash tea was the most popular. It's brave and delicious. See, like we're not crazy. We love boiled flash tea Gyokuro. It's just so dope. I don't like when Gyokuro gets a little bit too cloudy and brothy. It's not my favorite. I just find that like if I want something extremely brothy, I'll drink soup. And then boiled flash tea, I feel like it still has a lot of umami, but yeah, the polyphenol balance is still really good. It's not like when you don't destroy the umami necessarily. You extract I think the same amount of umami. You're just extracting more polyphenol. So, you know, but that's just me being opinionated. Don't think I just like higher temperature stuff. Yeah. So Brahmi Boy, I think our Hachiju Hachiya is awesome. The hashiri had beautiful color but almost tasted unripe. Early picking. Yeah, it is very early. I'm quite sensitive to like unripe taste. I thought it was pretty okay. Maybe it's our water.
We have good water.
Yeah, no, I liked it though. It was really, really good. I didn't have it like the last couple years. We haven't had Shinsha in a bit because we were so bad about drinking Dana green teas. I know I'm such a unique snowflake. I am so bad at drinking Dana green tea, so we only do Shinsha like once every 2 years. But I liked it. I thought it was good. Mel, hi, nice to see you. Gabby, nice to see you too. How's it going? Let's see. Tiva, you were talking about the Gyokuro 5 Ways tasting. Attendees looked at me like I was crazy with the boiled water, but it's so good. High fives to you. I want to give you like a big hug. I feel so like not lonely. I've had some people like email me be like, I'm not sure your boiling water sencha agenda is a good idea. I'm like, no, it's good. It has to be a good sencha. Sencha like this, yes. Good gyokuro, yes. Um, Rami Boy's question: how do you folks feel about fukamushi? I'm so interested. You work for Density and you're asking some interesting questions. I don't mind, by the way. So many of us here are like industry or industry adjacent or so nerdy anyway. You might as well be industry. So fukamushi, I think I've gotten a little bit influenced by Tete Japan, right? And Florence blog post about how he really, really likes asamushi, or what he calls futsumushi, like light steaming. I think it just falls in line with everything else I like about tea. I like tea with like a lighter touch on processing in terms of like just letting the tea do what it wants to do. I think fukamushi is good though in like certain applications. I'm very like tea's good. It's good. So we kind of like we like fukamushi if it's good. I don't like it when it's used to just make tea taste like a certain way, if that makes sense. You know, I'm not sure if this is accurate, but I have this perception that fukamushi processing can be used to make a boring tea taste at least a little bit more interesting. And asamushi, or what as Florent from Digipon says, futsumushi, makes it so that you really show the quality of the tea leaf. I kind of agree with them from my like, biased and limited perspective. But then I also don't want to say like fukamushi is never good. If used correctly, I like it.
Same for
What are your same for hojicha's amazing.
Yeah.
Some people like,
but some people just use the leftover whatever.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, if the hojicha is only like we don't care about this tea, we're just roasting it. It's crappy. But someone who really cares about hojicha and they like roast it with like some like love, it's so delicious. We're big hojicha fans. So, especially the dense organic hojicha.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff is dope. It's delicious. I love the hojicha. It might be like in my top like 3. Together with Naturality's spring hojicha from Yunomi. Amazing. It's mostly stems. So sweet. So sweet. So good. So good. Both hojichas are really good. I think
let's run a test.
Yeah, let's run a test. Dense hojicha is more like just nice, balanced, like very homey, cozy. Love that stuff. So here's as to everyone else's opinions on fukamushi and hojicha and whatever else you want to talk about. Japanese green tea and tea in general. Always welcome.
So what are we doing?
So we will now do, because we don't have a gyokura. I know I didn't want to buy a gyokura from last year. And yeah, I think I just glossed over it, to be honest. So sorry, but also not. I feel I felt confident that we could test this result with sencha at this specific one even and get a good result. And what I in theory have always dreamed about, a gyokura formula, which we've tried once in a while and made gyokura taste amazing, actually ended up being this recipe. Very close to it. So that's why. But we will try to emulate gyokura at 160 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's do it, Steven. Same tea. The sencha that you just have to trust me is very umami. It's amazing. It's fantastic.
Sorry, what
tea.
temperature?
And 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Is that okay? What do you guys think? So we will go. We'll head in that direction. Unless someone else would like to suggest a different temperature, I'm just taking votes. So it's heating right now. 100 ml, yeah. We should up, 50 ml. I like Steven so much. See, he is the same person as me, just with a lower voice and green eyes. Greenish, bluish, brownish eyes. Anyway, do we have enough for 2 grams, Steven? Actually, we should just do 30 ml. If it's 1 gram.
30 ml.
1 gram, 30 ml. Right? Do we even have enough in the bag to like... This is like the last of the... Hold me. We love this tea so much. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna try to put like 2 grams in it, then we can figure it out. Yeah. Yeah, I miss you too, Mel. How's it going? Where in the world is Mel? Mel, thank you for that. See, all my Japanese tea loves are coming to the chat for some reason. Mel, that Fukujuan matcha from 2 years ago, I will never forget that. That feeling you put into my body. By the way, this recipe we're developing, I think should in theory be good with matcha. We should have one in the morning just to say we did it. Just make double sure before we pack the recipes. Our current recipes, original and autumn, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think that they're tailored for matcha. Original again being a very high efficiency water, therefore it just makes matcha taste extremely matcha, very bittersweet, very intense. So I've usually said I like it, but I'm like, I do think original has a weakness there.
So how many mLs?
Just to
30 or 50?
50. I'm gonna try to put 2 grams into these. So yeah, I just think that we need a recipe that I can confidently recommend for matcha because original, not so much. Autumn is like a toss-up. It depends on what you like. I don't think that they're bad by any means. I'm just picky, right? I really want a water that I'm like, yes, this is good for matcha. Like, do it. Which I have done with. Our waters are good. Our waters are delicious, in my opinion.
Eat more than that.
Okay.
And pour 50 ml into the bowl.
Sounds good.
Because it's not even high enough to hit the temperature
Yep.
reader.
Yep. Okay, so Brahmi boy who works for Dens. That's just so crazy, dude. That's so cool. I can see that talking about the fukamushi. But by the way, we were asking about people's opinions on fukamushi. So I can see that I'm personally a fan of our organic genmaicha. Yes, that genmaicha is so good from Dens with matcha. Yeah, that was my first like matcha iri genmaicha, and since then, I think because of you guys, I've been like matcha iri genmaicha, so worth it. And then you guys have a fukamushi sencha chiran, which is the most like gyokuro. You guys have you do have a gyokuro, I think. I also like the gyokuro from you guys. Gyokuro like sui, I think. See, I'm forgetting which ones, but and then the sakura sencha, whew, so good, good stuff. And then Brahmi boy, what were you dropping into the water? Did I drop something into the water? Did I drop something in the water? Oh, over here, I was just like cleaning out the bowls. Is that what that is?
Maybe.
Yeah, that might just be it. I have like bowls of like spent leaves and stuff over here. So Mel says hi.
Hi, Mel.
See, Mel says hi to Steven. Steven doesn't feel so lonely anymore. More people should say hi to Steven.
Gotta shame everyone else.
I am more so just trying to embarrass Steven. Yeah, so yep. Yeah, so amazing. You know, Mel, we went to Greenland. We had like a crazy like run around Vegas trying to find like more waters to test. We tried to find the Samdasu?
People are gonna think we went to Greenland.
No, Greenland supermarket, not Greenland the country. Greenland supermarket's a Korean supermarket here. And Mel, Shida Sakurayuki, once brought like a Samdasu? What was the name of the water? I'm sorry if I got the water wrong. It's like a volcanic water. Dope. Really good water. I wish I found it again, but we didn't find it at Greenland, and I was really sad. So I was saying like, Mel found it here, we'll be able to find it. Mel found it here, but they didn't have it. I think I've been asking, I was calling around all the LA like Japantown like Japanese grocery stores, and they're all very nice to me. But they're out of a lot of their mineral water, so I wonder if there's some kind of like logistics thing that they didn't have it. So, yeah. Crazy Goose Girl, welcome. Jenny Soar, Kroot, welcome. We're just doing some nerdy things and like testing out a water recipe. Chemistry and tea stuff. So we are just working with different minerals to like pull different flavors from tea. Pretty much it. And And then Brahmi Boy is asking about the droppers. Did I show you the droppers? Yeah, so this is how our formula is going to be tomorrow. If you are just coming in, tomorrow we're dropping that Japanese tea water recipe. So everything we've tested, for the most part, has been Japanese green tea. I went all in. We really committed to making it good for Japanese tea. This one? Yeah.
2 grams?
Yeah, 2 grams. If you can. You want to weigh it out to see how much we have? So,
It's gonna be good.
these guys contain the mineral profile of a water, right? And then you drop droppers, like droplets, into a blank water, like purified water, to recreate a mineral profile, a water profile. So think of it as like a, a replacement for like bottled water. So if you don't want to buy like Fiji or Crystal Geyser or, fancy water, Poland Spring, and you'd rather make it at home, like in a relatively more sustainable way, it's much more sustainable. I mean, tap water is the best, right? But if your tap water sucks, like ours in Vegas, and I imagine you're in Cali, Brahmi Boy, if you're working for Dents, I don't know. Use these instead. So each bottle set is basically 50 liters. So imagine like each of these is 50 liters of plastic bottled water you don't have to buy. Just use our formula. And it's specifically made for this recipe coming out tomorrow. Is for Japanese green tea. Our original recipe is just a very analytical water that pulls out a lot of data from the tea. Delicious.
It's gonna be 1 gram.
And that's fine. Autumn makes things sweet and smooth and thick. So that's why. And yes, Mel, you have to start with RO water. If it's a little bit above RO water being reverse osmosis, right? It's like a blank slate, water with nothing on it. So you can add the minerals and make the correct water. So, yeah, that's what that concept is. It's delicious. It's really good. So this is releasing tomorrow. We will be up late. So it's good that we're having caffeine. I'm actually very relaxed, to be honest. I don't feel caffeinated.
Good tea.
It's good, yeah. But we need to make that product page. We have our labels. We'll have to take some product photos. So tomorrow, if you're subscribed to our email list, and then probably on Instagram I'll post it too, we'll drop the recipe. Actually, you're not gonna get it if you're in the main email list. It's only if you're on the Tea Curious Water email list, because I'm shy. I very rarely email the main list because I'm just shy. It takes a while for me to promote stuff. I spend so much energy being diligent about my tea stuff that I'm not diligent as a business owner in terms of properly promoting shit. What's good for you guys? The good stuff, the making the thing good comes first, and then the business stuff comes after. So yeah. That's how it goes. Brahmi Boy, yeah, Gyokura Suime from Dents, really, really good. I hope I answered your question about the waters. You also work at Nijiya. Oh, you've seen Suntory Tenensui? Oh my god, which Nijiya do you work at? Tell me, because I called the Nijiyas in LA, and they said they don't have Suntory right now. Your ordering manager, I was able to talk to him. I didn't actually speak to the manager. Someone was just really nice enough to port me over to him. He said that you guys aren't being offered Suntory at the moment, so let me know if you see it, because I've been wanting to get Suntory, any of the Tenensui from them. We tested onsen water. Tested a lot. The waters we got were from Nijiya, so. And Brahmi Boy keeps saying, going on with the questions, which is great. Thank you for asking. So there are minerals in the droppers that make crappy water good water. It has to be RO water first. So these can't transform bad water into good water. It's a replacement for if you had bad water already. Go get RO water, which I think most of us right now who are alive are living in America. If you go to the grocery store like Vons or you have Ralph's in LA, the Glacier or Primo vending machines have filtered purified water. So add this stuff to that water, and then you get magical, beautiful water similar to spring water, that's specifically for tea. So yeah, so let me know if you see the Suntory Tenensui. So if you can. I know that's a lot to ask for, but if you see it again. I was up late on like multiple days looking for Suntory Tensui from like the internet, eBay, Amazon, Amazon.jp, you know, like all the like Sugoi Mart. I think Emily told me about to check the online like Japanese subscription boxes. The best I could get was like I could get like Fujisan water, like Mount Fuji water, shipped to us for like $50 per liter. Landed. So I was like, I don't think so. I think our water recipe is good enough. I don't need to spend $50 on like a liter of water, but I would love to try more Japanese waters. That'd be great. And something we want to do in the future is to like copy famous waters. I'm still working on this. It's honestly not perfect yet, but I want to be able to take the mineral profile of a famous water. Famous waters are a thing in like, especially in Japanese tea ceremony, but also in China and like, you know, in the world for culinary purposes. Let's say the famous like Some well in like Kyoto, right? There's multiple famous wells in Kyoto city. We can take what we know is the mineral profile of them and then recreate it using something similar to this. Because what's in this is all the same minerals you find in natural water. There's nothing different. If you look in the back of like an Evian bottle, which is why I have this here. Look at the back of an Evian bottle. You'll find calcium, magnesium, potassium, bicarbonate, sulfates, chlorides, and silica. It's the same stuff that we put into the droppers. Just in different ratios, you know? So nothing is like, there is no like flavor added to it. There is no like...
They're not chemicals.
They're chemicals, but they're the same chemicals as in water. They're chemistry, you know? So I get it. Like some people are a little bit apprehensive about the idea of like, oh, you're adding something to your water. Isn't that like not natural? But we wanted to make sure that we clarify. It's always stuff you always find in natural water at like the same ratios, more or less. So that's why we're pretty proud of this stuff. I think it's good. And we made this as a response to like, I used to buy Fiji. No, you used to buy Fiji. I used to get it from your dad. And then I used to buy Trader Joe's artesian. And then working in like the tea industry, you won't believe how many tea shops rely on bottled water.
I want to taste.
Oh yeah, thank you. It's because I'm not brewing. So let me know if you have any questions. So this is the same tea earlier, but brewed at 160 degrees Fahrenheit with less water. So lower ratio to try to mimic the Yokuro kind of like brewing style. They need to sit a little longer, I think.
Okay.
But that's delicious. That's really good. Oh my gosh. Ooh! Wow! This tea's so good. But I think it needs to sit a little longer. That's good too. This is better, I would say. I'll let them sit a little longer. Yes. Oh, sorry.
Same order, please.
So T4, you're saying I could see your water solutions being good for travel if you can get away with using just the droppers and local water. They're probably not as good as your purified water. Yeah. If you, for example, are traveling to Seattle, well, that's the thing though. I think if the local water is good enough, I would just say use the local water. I'm gonna be honest. If the local water is not good though, like if you travel anywhere in the southwest of America, it's worth it to go drive to the store and pick up like RO water to reformulate. Yeah, I think it's just more normal for us here in Vegas because our water is not good. So it's very normal for people to make a trip to the grocery store and then pick up RO water at the same time so that they can drink it at home. But if your water is good already and the local water is good already, I would say don't fight it. Yeah. Like, if I get my hands on good local water, I'm using that instead of the Tears formula, to be honest. Not that I don't like our formula, but, you know, I like pre-existing water, too.
Hassle to find RO and then...
Yeah. So, like, let's say whenever we go to Yosemite, we're not brewing using Tears water. We're using Yosemite water. And when we went up to Olympic National Park, near you guys in Seattle, we were not using Tears water. We were using, you know, their water. So if it's worth it to get RO water because your current water situation is not good enough, or you work in the industry or adjacent to the industry, I think that's when you should pick up the droppers, in my opinion. But if you're just like a regular consumer and you have good water at home, you're not worried about it, you're not concerned, you're not noticing any issues with your water, I don't think it's necessary. Um, a lot of, again, lots of us like industry or industry adjacent though. In that case, it's really important to like know how things taste like in different places. So yeah. Um, Steve, you're also, I think it'd be fine to promote your products on the TQRS email list if you're mentioning inside the regular email blast. Readers understand. Saying this as a marketer. I know! This is the, like, I know it already. I'm just so shy. I'm just so shy. Because I haven't emailed that list in like a year. Mostly because we went down like the rabbit hole with this water stuff. So, but I will. I think I will. We just have so much to promote too. We have the podcast, we have like the community stuff coming up. We have some like tea tasting kits coming up. So I will have to like make that list like happy again. Which we used to like very regularly like email. And then like I just once we started doing this I got shy to talk about it, to be honest. That's just my natural tendency. But I work with it. That's fine. Oh, it's Leo. Hi Leo. Hi, quickly, don't show him anything. Leo, you ready for tomorrow? If you're still here.
We're totally ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, we're ready. We're ready for tomorrow. We got the labels printed out, everything, Leo.
The recipe's done.
It's good.
Yeah.
The recipe's good. It's not done yet. We're doing some last minute. Oh, okay. That's funny. We're doing some last minute adjustments, so. Good. That's good. That's delicious. I like it a lot. Oh my gosh, that's really good. That's very. So this first one's delicious. T-Burger is asking, did you say your products play well with Crystal Geyser? No, Crystal Geyser is very heavy. So thank you for asking. I'm still trying to I'm still trying to make it as easy as possible to understand all this. So like, if you have questions like this, I think it's super useful for me. I think it's also more difficult to like understand it if you don't already have purified water, which we are in Vegas. Again, our local like buying culture, all of us know about our water because our tap water is so heavy that if you it just most people don't drink the tap water here. So you need very, very light water, and Crystal Geyser is quite heavy. So has to be purified. Or Seattle water will work too. If you want to know what it tastes like for like let's say a customer or a friend outside of Seattle with like heavier water, you can add it. Just because Seattle's on the borderline. You guys are like 30 TDS. If that makes sense. 30 TDS is like how many minerals per liter. So just kind of like a random number, but think 30 is Seattle. Purified water, RO water, distilled water being around 0. Maybe a little bit higher, but 0. Blank slate. Vegas water is 550. It's a lot. So our water in Vegas is 1.5 to 2 times, no, 10 times to 20 times heavier, depending on where you are in Vegas, where you're in Seattle, 10 to 20 times heavier than Seattle water. So you can imagine when someone receives a tea from, let's say, dense tea, or like floating leaves, or tea and whisk, right? And they're using like tap water, it can easily kill the tea, even if you're using filters, because our water is so heavy that a Brita filter will be destroyed in like weeks. And it still doesn't even take out everything.
Yeah, it'll only go down to like 300 something. Right?
Yeah, if you run our water through Brita, it tends to go down to like 300, which is still 10 times heavier than Seattle water. So it's a lot. Yeah. So you're asking about Crystal Geyser. Crystal Geyser is around, depending on the Crystal Geyser that you get, like 150, 200, sometimes 250. I forget. It's been a long time. And there are different Crystal Geyser sources too. So that water is not as consistent. But yeah, that's how it's going. Cheers to Karaoke. I want to try your formulations. Let me know when we can meet up sometime. Especially with Japanese green tea. And matcha. That'll be fun. Tiva, what's your podcast? It's a secret. Like everything else I do. Like everything else we do, it's a secret.
If we reverse promote, that makes people just want it more, right?
I know. That's what I'm doing. I'm being very like reticent
promoting.
about promoting so that people ask about it more. That's a Tea Curious
Should we try these?
technique. So the podcast is just like any other like podcast. We're having conversations with people and we're being like, what the hell? This is amazing. We should like record this. But the approach we're taking is like we feel like we learn a lot from like tea people. And the way that we learn the best is through conversations. Like when you're sitting at a tea table and like stuff is being said, just like here in this live, right? I'm learning from you, I'm learning from me, learning together. I like books and I like magazines. I am like a big 80 Degrees like stan. I also write for them, of course, but like I like books. I really like books. I like books. But I don't think that majority of my tea know-how and like love comes from reading tea books. I think a lot of it does, but even more so just talking to people. And there's a concept I think that I'm seeing more and more in tea that a lot of the really good info is passed through conversation. So that's that. So we find a topic we want to ask of someone who we know is very good at it. So for example, the Floating Leaves gang, right? We have an episode that is going to come out with Noah, and Noah teaches me something in that and walks me through a tasting. And if someone hasn't found the Floating Leaves podcast, they might have not experienced what that process is like. So we document it and then we will put it on the podcast. So far, we've had Martin from 80 Degrees, how to create a creative tea project, because, I'm not the most like project-minded person. I have a hard time figuring out how to get from A to Z. It's not my natural, skill. I think I'm getting better at it because I have to, with work. But Martin is at like issue 10 of 80 Degrees by himself, having never published a magazine before. And coordinating all these people to write about tea. He's insane. He's just such a good executor. So we asked him, how do you execute a tea project? And then Kim from Sonblends, who was here earlier, I'm like, this lady is just full of tea joy. How did you get there? And she runs a small tea shop in Argentina, happily, and doesn't seem to want to need like an online shop. She's just happy with her shop. So we're like, how are you happy running a tiny tea shop in a country where you can't export? Like most people want to have an online store. People think, oh, online is important, e-commerce is important. International market. You can't make a tea shop work in like a tiny town, but she makes a tea shop work in a tiny town. So she tells us how she does that. And the final episode that's out right now is Ting's, and Ting is my friend who is an amazing tea host. So we ask her, why are you such an amazing tea host? That kind of stuff. So that would be the format, is we have a question to ask someone we respect a lot, and we will ask them. And then we'll have a couple, like me and Steven, like talking about stuff, and I'm sure later on. It's at the Tea Curious podcast. It's on the site. There should be like a landing page on the site. Is that up yet? Yes, it is. I put it up. So if you go to teacurious.com, there's a tab on top, podcast.
Or search for it.
It's ready to go.
Any of your major platforms.
Or search for it on any of your major platforms. Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts.
Yeah.
So that's what's up. We'll do a water one too. We'll talk about water. If like I can manage to like be clear enough talking about water in a podcast setting, So, yeah.
Jeffrey McIntosh coming up soon too.
Jeffrey McIntosh has one, that the old Tripur stuff. Oh, he doesn't talk about old Tripur in that episode. He talks about how he became a puer specialist. That's very fascinating.
That's an amazing story.
They're all amazing stories. Yeah, they're all great. Them. So, if you want to if you're starting teasing, listen to the 80 Degrees episode, because I basically ask him, I tell him like, yo, Martin, I'm starting a podcast, and you know me, I'm not the most consistent person. Like, I know this about myself. Like, the podcast is not going to be a weekly episode podcast, because I don't operate that way. I'm not consistent in the sense of like I can make sure to have a blog post every single week. It's just not what I do. I go in spurts, which is why we're doing this live stream for 7 days straight, and we're done with the recipe. It's just how I work. So I ask him, how do you do that? How do you make your tea dreams work? You know. So it's just the name of the podcast is just Tea Curious Podcast. So if you go on the website, you'll find it on the top. So yeah, I hope you listen to it. Thank you for asking. Speaking about these guys, these are good. I have the same opinion. That the one on the top, that this first one, is the best. I think this one is just as good. Right, Steven? It's just a little warm. I don't like how beany it gets. It gets a little bit overly beany. And then this one is actually not, like the fluffy 0.5 that we've liked so much is still not my favorite, but you can double it and get the same result. It's the same recipe. So,
I'm not a fan.
really? How come?
I want it to be brewed in a different way.
That's fair. This is the last of the bag too.
Yeah.
I still like them.
I mean, it's not that they taste bad. I'm just like, can they be hotter?
You don't like gyokuro though. That's the thing. You like actively don't like gyokuro. I actually like this, by the way.
I like it hot.
That's true. You like it when it's boiling flash deep, like you said. So, hi Jody, how's it going? If you can tell, we're pretty relaxed because our recipe is going well. So we are brewing. This is the third test we've done today. This is the Miyazaki Sencha from Miyanoko from like 2 years ago. Brewed with Fluffy, the prototype we had on Monday, Fluffy 0.5, and then variations. I actually like the fourth one the best. Isn't that interesting? This fourth one actually tastes good. It's the only iteration that's the best.
How about we do one more test and then
Let's do one more test.
call it?
I don't have enough data. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna be sorry. This is my friggin' live stream. Let's do a test. Yeah.
Which one do you want to do?
Which one should we do? I'm already feeling like you guys are in the room with me. I'm like, obviously they don't know, Ree. We can do the very early harvest
Okay.
one. But we don't know it yet. Should we do the Hisoka from Hachimanju?
This one?
Yeah.
Sure.
What do you think?
Have we tried this with?
We
I
got
don't
to
think we have,
we got
right?
to know it. Yeah, we got to know it the very
Well,
first
we know
day.
the tea, but have we tried it with?
We haven't. We haven't. That's
Okay.
why. So we
Yeah,
should
need
do
to.
it.
We
Yeah.
need to.
Yeah. Because we tried this with the Hida water, the Tenensui. So, Joni, I like the ooh. I've been learning for your bold tasting technique and tasted a Maui black with the onsen. Oh, you picked up the onsensui. Onsensui meaning hot spring water that we were testing very early on. Spoiler alert, onsensui is not my favorite for tea. We'll see if you did though, because it's the same onsensui brand. And our autumn recipe. And I wasn't patient enough to wait for Fluffy to test with onsensui. No worries. You have the onsensui there. There's so many tests you can do anyway. So I'm glad you went ahead and did it. How did it go? How did your results go? And isn't bowl tasting so great to like do tests with? Just so convenient. You don't need like 4 arms. As you would if you were like trying to do stuff. So last test we'll do today is this Hachimanju Yakushima. And yes, Shima is island. So I know when I say Yakushima Island. I think it's island, right? I thought no.
Ask Joni.
Hey Joni, is Shima Island? I thought it was. It's like when people say like
Alishan Mountain.
Alishan Mountain. I'm not remembering. I thought it was. Maybe I'm forgetting. My Japanese is very weak lately. But this is the Hisoka we tried on Monday that we haven't tested with this water yet. So this is Yutaka Midori. It's been open for a couple days, so if there are any issues with it kind of landing and like needing some space, it's good now. I mean, you know it says Yakushima Island right here.
It's been roasted for the past 2 days.
Steven's making an AC being broken joke. No, it hasn't been. Yakushima is pretty hot anyway. It's like a southern like island. Although it's very misty. right? I've never been there. I'd love to go. Okay, let's test this. Last test for tonight, and then me and Steven gotta take some product photos, make this product page, test some more, and eventually get some sleep. So we will. I think that Fluffy is still the best. The magnesium, the high magnesium, is not working for me.
You mean this one?
This,
This is the best?
these two,
Okay.
like renditions of these two, like varying the amounts has so far not been the best. So let's see.
Use your cup if you have to.
Huh?
Use your cup if you have to.
This cup?
The glass.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem.
Because I know these are full, so.
Yeah. We're going through so much tea. So how was your comparison, Joni? I appreciate the comparison so much. With onsen sui, the liquid wasn't as clear and tastes more rounded, not as crisp and notes not as highlighted compared to autumn. Which is interesting because I thought original baby is what brings out the bright. Yeah, I think it should in theory. But autumn is more bright compared to other waters. It's like it's a heavy light water or a light heavy water. So that makes sense. So did you like the autumn better? Should say yes. I'm just kidding. We still have the onsen sui. I think I'm interested to try it out some more. I might just drink it though. Just enjoy like how good that water is, because we talked about this earlier. Delicious water often is not good for tea, but it's delicious, so you might as well just drink it as it is. Like Akopana is delicious. I don't like it for tea.
Do you want some water to rinse?
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. So, and then how is well, you're right there. How is, imagine Maui water brewed with Maui Maui tea with Maui water. How is that? How is Maui's water? I'm not familiar actually. We've only tried like one Hawaiian water, and I think that was a Waiakea brand. And oh no, I forgot.
There's a Hawaiian brand water that's just like purified, and then
Yes, no, we got another one.
Yeah.
I forgot which one it was though. I totally forgot. So, yeah. Let us do this last test. So again, this is a Yakushima tea. It's the Hisoka we tried the other day. We haven't tried it with this water yet. So one last one. What do we want from this test? Just more data, just to confirm that we don't want the variations.
we haven't tried this tea with these waters.
We haven't tried this tea with this water yet. And it's a more like run-of-the-mill shincha. I don't want to do a super high-end shincha yet. So
And the more teas we try, the more we know.
yeah. And then I think after this, we might do like a couple of tests off camera, just to like if we remember something. But honestly, I'm happy with this water. I think it's great.
Which one?
The fluffy variations,
For full or half?
both of them. I'm not sure which one we're gonna end up with the standard, but do you know? Any idea?
I strongly lean towards half.
Let's see how it goes with this.
Yeah.
So,
So I'll give you some water to rinse.
but we're noticing that the heavier water is better with sencha.
I'm
So,
not so sure.
I am not 100% sure, to be honest. We have to make the decision. So Joni is continuing about her report with the Maui Black. Like the Maui Black with Autumn, yes, but initially in comparison, I prefer the Onsen Sui. But the more I had both, the more I realized I prefer Autumn. And I tried again hours later and still picked Autumn as the better of the two for me. Spoke to me more on what the tea is about. Interesting. Yeah, I'm glad that you're willing to like say, oh, I like onsen water at first and then autumn. Because yeah, the tea does change over time. And stuff to like be aware of, right? Like, how do you brew? And what are you looking for? Stuff we talked about last couple of live streams. So,
What temperature? 85?
85, yeah. That's cool. I'm glad you shared the results with us. I would like to try the onsen soy a couple more times now that you've said that. I think it was Tea Potato that said that it might be interesting to test it with a Benifuki black tea, like a black tea that's relatively more like astringent, to see if the onsen soy can like work with it. Not that I want to use onsen soy all the time, because like Joni found out when you went to the grocery, it's expensive. Oh, Steven! Here, let me show the empty, just to like give it a hug. Hey, this is a drink down. High fives. We finished the Miyako Nojo. Oh, we love you so much. So great. It went to a good cause though.
Yeah. We've enjoyed it a lot.
And we can, in theory, get more. But well, I'll always remember this batch. It was so wonderful. Yeah.
Seriously.
Amazing.
Life changing.
Yep.
It's one of those life changing teas.
Yeah, like how good consent to get, right? Oh. And then tomorrow we'll probably do a live stream before we go to Tea and Whisk, unless we're panicking to like get stuff packed, which is a non-zero possibility.
Okay, this camera alone.
What's that?
My parents are going hiking.
Oh, no problem. They can use a camera, but that's fine. That's fine. We'll just use like our regular. Oh no, using a regular phone for like live stream. Oh, boo-hoo. But we'll see. Yeah, I'm very honest about this stuff. I'm like, I'm not gonna be the person who's like done 3 hours before I need to go somewhere. I'm gonna be like pretty close to like when I need to be. It's just not. I'm not like. It's just not my personality. I'm like, I need rest. So I rest, and then I just do whatever I need to do right before. Without like panicking too much. But sometimes I will. Like if I'm not having a good like round, I will like rush to go get something done. It's good to know yourself, right?
Original really took a long time.
Oh, original took a long time. My god. That's why we haven't emailed the list. Is we took so long doing water stuff. This water development is so much better. It's so much faster because we now know what the different minerals were. When you first made the recipes, like original, this is the first one we ever like made. We had no clue what we were doing. No clue. We hadn't looked at the research yet. We hadn't looked into like thresholds yet. Then we just spent like most of 2020. We most spent like about a year doing nothing but squinting at like research, doing tests, like tiny gram like adjustments of the water. Now we know a little bit better, so it's a lot faster. This is why we've only taken a week to do this, but hard-earned knowledge and very difficult. We were very stressed out for a lot of it, to be honest. A lot of hard-earned like things we've learned, and then I didn't have a lot of references. You know, we had to learn from coffee people, beer people, and then like studies done in like China, Japan. So like squinting through like Deep L and like making sure that the translations were okay. And yeah, that was hard. So it's nice now to feel more comfortable with the water, and like I feel like I can answer a lot of questions now. For a while, so difficult. So, yeah. Sebastian, welcome. Fancy Raish? Oh, Fanny Raish Masari. I'm sorry. I'm like messing up. I think I'm just so relaxed. I feel like I'm very high on L-theanine is what it is. Like, these teas are great. I think that they're making me very relaxed. This happened to us too at
Very happy with this,
the Tea and Whisk.
quality of these teas.
Yeah, they're great. So thanks, Unomi. Like most of the shincha that we got was from Unomi, and
Dense.
the one from Dense. It's been great. Yeah. I was worried that at some point, because sometimes Japanese green tea can be very like jittery. But these are good. We've been quite comfortable. There hasn't been a night that we've been up tossing and turning. No like horrible stomach cramps. No,
Heavy
it's been
chest,
good.
like,
For as much tea as we're consuming and how relatively sensitive Stephen and I to caffeine, we've been treated very well. So thanks tea, and thanks tea makers, and thanks vendors. I feel very taken care of by them. Okay, so this test is going to be the last test before I think you and I will be like, that's the formula. We need to figure out if 0.5 or full is going to be the recipe.
Are you counting out the third one?
This one? unless this blows us away.
Right.
If we have like a, oh my gosh, we might do a couple tests after this, but now it's just here just to confirm. I think we should count out one of these.
The fourth one.
The fourth one?
I'm
Okay.
done with it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Let's do our water with this.
Okay.
Or the Here's Original. Which control do you want?
RO.
I almost wanted to do Here's Original,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. Can you do both?
Sure.
It's gonna be a big tasting. I think we should do a lot of them.
Let's do it.
Or can we just rule
Give
this
me
one
that
out?
bowl, I'll go dump it.
Okay, cool. Okay, we'll do a 5. This is gonna be a big test. Because I think we're getting close to like just making a decision. So we will do Tea Curious Water Original and RO. So Fluffy, the prototype, Fluffy 0.5, variation, RO, and then Tea Curious Original. I just want to confirm that this new water that we've been working on for so long and I put so much energy on has something to say that's a little bit different than the original, which is, it's relatively similar. I'm not putting Autumn in this lineup because I know Autumn changes the tea a lot. This new recipe is going to be quite similar in the neighborhood, like just generally how heavy it is to original. My point is that the ratios are different enough. That's going to taste very different from original. So I'm kind of scared because if they are too similar, there's going to be problems, and Steven and I will be up late trying to fix that because I don't want to sell a water that's the same as the first one. I think it'll be different though. I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure that we are making it different enough. So I think they'll be fine. Just have to test it and make sure. So yeah, you guys doing okay? I'm like, this is a good like ending because I'm getting like very relaxed and a little like chill. That's good. It's that's all right. It's like a pleasant like getting a little bit tired. Like you've been working hard and it's been rewarding. Some ups, some downs. So
Absorbed a lot of information.
we've absorbed a lot of information. So thank you for joining us so far. So last test and then we will let you guys go, which you're free to go, of course. But
You have to stay.
you have to stay. We'll be up late.
You know, waiting up.
Yeah. Okay, so let us try this tea.
How many grams?
1 gram,
Okay. 100.
100 ml. Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully this goes well. Are we attending any tea festivals in the next year? I hope not. We love tea festivals, but we're trying to go to Taiwan this year, right? We think everyone knows about it, but again, I've been so shy to say anything that no one knows we're trying to go to Taiwan. We were trying to move to Taiwan in 2019. And then the Fire Nation attacked. Yeah, and then stuff happened, which I don't want to complain too much. We were relatively comfortable during the pandemic. Relatively being the word. But we have been wanting to go to Taiwan. There's very like personal stuff I want to like it's very personal to me to make it there and live there. So hopefully I will not be able to go to tea festivals this year. I already didn't go to Midwest Tea Fest, which is insane.
Let's go.
Taipei Tea Expo. Can you imagine? We're not gonna be able to like talk to anyone. Hao shui.
You can get
Hao
around.
shui. Hao shui. You know?
Yeah.
Hao shui, hao cha. Like good water, good tea. And then I guess we can like talk about like international teas, because in Taiwan I am the
interface.
people ask me about international tea because most people drink just Taiwanese tea and Japanese tea in Taiwan. So like when we bring like Nepalese tea or even Japanese tea, it's people mostly drink Taiwan tea in Taiwan. It's quite like, wow, like, like show us what's up and what's going on over there.
Let's do this quickly so that we can.
Okay.
Like the first time we did it, we let it sit for too long.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey,
What's up?
whose tea are we having?
Oh yeah, whose tea are we having? You know me, that's right. Hi Ian, how's it going? Your tea has been amazing, by the way. We love what we got. if that's you, Ian, we got that Marishi that you wrote that note about. The fluffy one. I'm very excited to have it. You convinced me with your note on your website. I'm very excited. During Global Japanese Tea Marathon last year, there was that Marishi. I forgot from who it was. Is it from them? But I'd never heard of Marishi before. But I loved it. I loved the taste of the Marishi from like last year's marathon. So I was like, oh my gosh. So seeing that on the website and then your glowing reviews about it, I got really excited. So we picked some up. We want to like use it as like our ending for this water development, which I hope you're not surprised. We're doing water stuff. We're doing a specifically Japanese green tea recipe. So, and trying to make sure we're sticking to Japanese tea ideas. So we're not boiling the green tea. We're making sure to like focus on like the what we find and have asked people enough about is the general idea of what we want Japanese green tea like classically tastes like. So, because our current recipes are not, they're good. I think they make Japanese tea taste great, but I don't think that they focus necessarily on what is uniquely like very specific to Japan. So, thanks for like sending us amazing tea. They've treated us super well. And we have enjoyed them just on their own. I'm so excited to be done with testing tomorrow and just like sit back and enjoy some like Japanese green tea. So, yeah, it's a big move. We've been wanting to for so long, so I'm excited. So I was really disappointed because like we started doing those tea tours, you know, and then pandemic hit. So I set up all that infrastructure to like go to Taiwan, bring people to Taiwan, and then literally as you're trying to like make the 2020 spring trip happen, we were like, is this COVID thing gonna like affect our trip? We were so naive then. I think February we were like, it's so late to get signups, but like we can't do it yet because right now it's. And then March we're like, of course, thank goodness we didn't make the trip because we would have had to cancel so many things. So yep. So let's see. We have to convince the farmer to keep making this level of Mariachi. Oh my gosh! It's getting to be too much trouble for him, apparently. I'm sure you're making a lot of
You guys stock up on it then.
opinions about that. It's amazing. Is it the cultivar that like makes it so like awesome? I haven't tried the Marishi yet from you. And again, I don't know if it's the same one from the Japanese Tea Marathon last year, but whatever I tasted last year was just so different and so gorgeous that like you guys who were at the Global Japanese Tea Marathon know too, there were so many teas there, but that Marishi was like, oh my gosh, amazing, so good, just above and beyond, so great. So yeah, whew. So yeah, Ian, like I'm gonna have to ask everyone like, how's the importing tea to Taiwan? Okay, cool. So again, this is the last test we're doing today. Just to confirm that we like this recipe. Not impressed. Maybe the second. I also want to wait for it to sit a little longer. My palate also might be blown out because we are quite okay. Oh yeah? Okay, got it.
I'm pouring it over here.
Okay, got it. So this is fluffy 1 times. I think it's a little flat. This tea has been so like fresh and vibrant before. It's coming out a little bit now as we're like letting it sit. So this is 85 degrees Celsius, 1 gram for like 100 ml. Bowl brew, right? So we'll see. It's good. I think it's just needing some time to like open up. Actually, it's wow, Steven, the finish. Yeah. Ooh, so good. Ooh, it's long. Okay, I think I just had to let it sit a little longer because now that Steven's making me taste them a little faster. Oh, that's delicious, Steven. The umami came out just now too. Just like hit. Oh, so Joni, this is the same shincha we have, by the way. This is the hisoka from Hachimanju. I really like the Hachimanju stuff. It's so great. I just love it so much. Delicious. So Joni, you have the same one, I believe. And then we also have the earlier picking from Hachimanju, which I'm very excited about also, because this is really, really tasty. And then we also got the we tested it earlier today, Ian. The Ikegawa Kiri no Kaori was very good too. Just wanted like a more like affordable sencha to test, see how it went. It was good, really, really good.
So I'm doing the alternate, and then Tikurius and Oro.
Yes, yes. So the high magnesium water, and then Tikira's original, and then Aro. So this is the last kind of like test to make sure that this is actually what we want, basically. So, T Warrior, which Marishi from Unomi tea are you all referring to? The one from Canes? Is it Canis or Canes Tea Farm? Is it still in stock? We were only able to get like 20 grams of it. Such a tiny amount. I think that's the only size that was available on the website, right? So it felt very precious. Did you like the Sears, Ian? Because I know that your note was from like a couple, like last year maybe. I'm excited though, and I hope that they can keep it together. Hi Sohan, or Sohan's family. I never know who's at West China Tea at any given point. So how's it going? We are doing well. You can relate to this being in Texas.
Talked about you guys earlier.
We talked about you guys earlier, always. We were like, oh yeah, Tivo, you're still here. Yo, the nano tea right here, go get it. So talking about just like amazing Shang and like Li Shulin being like a fucking boss and like just it being so delicious. Our AC broke for like 2 days here in Vegas. Yeah, that sucked. So may your AC be strong and healthy in Texas this summer. It's just not great. West China. Rhea, I've got a friend trying to join your Discord. How does he do that? Ask me in like a couple days. The Discord's like closed right now. We have it paused because we're trying to like figure stuff out with it. And you know me, I can't multitask. So if you've ever like DM'd me, you know that I have periods of like being able to DM and then periods that I'm not because I'm live. So yeah, let them know that we will be around again in June. We're changing a lot of the community stuff. We just wanted to be more focused. Yeah. We like made the Discord on like the pandemic like system. Now that pandemic's over, I want it to be still a place where people can practice tea without like being necessarily like stuck to the Discord platform. So long story short, we're gonna figure it out. So yeah. Our AC broke too. No, it was brutal. Right before a dance party. No. Yeah. Our AC broke just this week. Right before this dance party. So me and Steven successfully didn't kill each other, but it was pretty close. So we were just like escaping to like the Filipino restaurants to just like eat like vinegar pork.
Food made by people who are always hot too.
Yeah. Oh, that's delicious. Oh no, the high magnesium one is delicious.
What do you mean? Oh no.
Damn.
You thought you counted it out already.
Yeah, I thought so. Did I even try this? All of our friends are here, so I think the magnesium one is really good, Steven. Fuck. God damn it. So for those of you who are just coming in, this is our new Tikira's water recipe. Specifically going to be good for Japanese green tea. I bet this stuff is going to be good for Taiwan oolong too. Just like some of the umami notes, some of the creamy, fluffy thing going on, I think will be really, really good. So we'll see. And also Shang. So yeah. Oh, Ian was saying that this year is pretty good. Not quite as good as last year from memory. Cry tears. It's okay. It changes from year to year. I'm still really happy to have it. Yeah, for sure. So, but yeah. Hope you guys are doing well over there. Everyone who is just there over well. So, but yeah, thank you for dropping by. And I know you're super busy. So thank you for seeing us test our baby while you are busy with your baby. So yeah, have a good one. And yeah, if you guys were here for the West China, and you know me, and dude, all the vendors who are involved in this tasting kind of showed up today, which is kind of ridiculous. Ben's Tea showed up. What's left is for Jeffrey McIntosh to show up, and Noah or Shoen, which they typically don't, but depending. Oh, dude, this is so good. Steven, I'm having a problem. This is really delicious. The magnesium one.
An RO.
Ooh, now I don't know. Now this one's better. Oh, Steven, I think that Fluffy's still okay. Our prototype that we like the best. Actually, as time goes on, the finish is better on it. So this is good too. Yeah. Oh, Ian, while you're here, what do you think is the target feeling for like a Japanese green tea? Just like if you had to throw some notes out, you know? We've been asking this from like folks over the last like week that we've been doing this. Like, what would you and or people expect when they have a good Japanese green tea? Because that's what we're trying to target with this recipe. Our current recipe is very like bright and vibrant. I think much better for like Chinese green tea. And if you want your sencha to be very floral and mineral, is our current formula. This one, we were testing like Japanese waters to see with the Ortiz to see which ones we liked the best, and then we kind of reverse engineered the Japanese water for this tea, or for this water recipe. Yeah, target feeling like, obviously like umami, like how much bittersweetness, how much mellowness, how much like shibumi, right? Is that the term for it? Like, what are people looking for? Because I know that our current recipe, because we didn't target Japanese green tea with it, and it's Japanese green tea is so distinct. I think our current water is better for Chinese green tea and other green teas in general, other teas. I think it makes Japanese green tea a little bit harsh, which I don't mind so much. I like the kind of like bittersweet, poppy, floral thing, but it doesn't pull umami as well from the tea. It's not as mellow. So, so yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So this is Tahira's original, Steven. This next one. So this is the water that we currently have that I recommend for green tea. But I honestly, if I'm being honest, I like it for Japanese greens also, but it's a little bit poppy. As you know, I like to use like higher temperature water for the Japanese green tea. Let's test it. Let's see how it compares to our new recipe. Oh my god, it is so different. Yes, that's good. It's very different. It's harsh compared to the new water, to be honest. So, so yeah, shibumi astringency.
Wow.
Depends, I think. I have a number of farmers who brew their awesome tea at 95C. I think the tea is awesome at 60C. Yeah. I was honestly thinking about you a lot and like making sure that, because I have a bias for like 95C type brewing, you know, but I just don't think that I should only make water for what I like. And now I'm like starting to like honestly be a little bit more open to the idea of dropping temperature again. I'm just going through cycles, you know? Like, I like this 85 degrees brewing here, so it's good though. I think it's good. It's just got some harsh edges compared to like this new recipe.
It's not optimized.
It's not optimized. I still think it's good if you prefer this like profile. That's much better! Yes! So good! The umami came out. Wow. So this is just harsh. It's just very
This one?
harsh. This one.
Mm.
This is just...
Which one were you high-fiving me about? Okay.
See, the Tigris one is very leafy. It's like very, very leafy. I don't think you would like this at all, Ian. You'd be like, what the hell are you doing, Ree? But this is better.
And then RO,
And then Aro.
the true test.
I don't have any more.
Yeah,
I'll just use
that
the
one,
Tihiris water. So and then Aro is here because I have a couple tea friends who they brew with Aro water at their tea shops with the green tea. And just as a way to like emulate very, very, very soft light water. So, again, 1 minute at 95 degrees Celsius. That's even longer than I go at 95 degrees Celsius. So, it's good. It's just very leafy. The umami comes out, but you're not going to detect it if you're not paying attention because the bitterness is so obvious. You know, there's an undercurrent of umami, but it needs help. Aftertaste is great though. I don't even know which aftertaste this is all coming from.
Yeah.
Because everything is lingering now. I'm happy with this.
I like it a lot.
I like it a lot.
We will need to.
Yeah.
Not right now. We
Yeah.
need to use it in a Kyusu.
Yes. Yeah. So,
Like a Tokonami something
yep.
or whatever we have.
So interestingly, Ian's saying it's an older generation. They seem to like tea super bitter in Japan. That's what I'm wondering about. Because, like, I think that from my perception here in the United States, at least, we tend to like umami teas and mellow teas and are very, like, allergic to, like, bittersweet flavors kind of thing. Like, the less quote unquote CBD and the less quote unquote, like, bitter a Japanese tea is, the better. Um, so that's what we targeted is more mellow, more nuanced, like more like umami friendly kind of like profile. But
Original is like sour.
I think original is good.
It's good, but it's not.
It's not optimized. Yeah.
I'm just mean for this tea.
Yeah, it's very sour and astringent. Which if you like that, which I think my palate has adapted to like bitterness and astringency. I think this is good in a certain context. But if you're just brewing, I think this is much better. So that's I think it's a go, guys. I think we got a recipe.
From here, we use it in a Kyusu.
From here, we use it in a Kyusu. See if it, like while we're doing work tonight, let's just brew in a Kyusu. See if it like tastes good
Yeah.
and just makes sense. You know, just like a intuitive kind of like, not testing it so like linearly, but like, does it taste good? Does it feel good, etc. So, yeah.
Cool.
Ian's saying, I prefer, and I think most customers in the West and tea connoisseurs in Japan as well prefer it to be sweeter and with more umami. Yep. Thank goodness. That's what we targeted with this. Which hopefully, you know, I just want people to not like blame their tea for being bad. Like, honestly, Japanese green tea was one of the first things that made us so anal about water. It's like people complaining about Japanese green tea being like, it's too CBD. It tastes like, you know, it's so bittersweet and it's so harsh. I don't like it. It's like, and then you see the tea, you can see it in their Instagram story. The tea is like cloudy, you know, because of they're using hard water. So this is what we hope, you know, people would just taste this instead.
Yeah.
And during Global Japanese Tea
These are also
Marathon, you
clear.
know, it's all super clear. If you can see, like the waters are all very clear. If you brew this using like hard water, there's just no way. I know.
I'm
Right?
gonna mix up the order, so.
So, like during Global Japanese Tea Marathon, people were drinking the same teas together, but they were using such different water. Sometimes people are like dropping notes that are like way in outer space, and I'm like, that's a water thing for sure. You know? So, you know, I mean, yeah, cloudy due to hard water, like dark, cloudy, and like the cloudiness is like the polyphenols kind of like complexing together. So when you taste them on your palate, they're dry. So it's like it's just not forgiving at all, especially for Japanese green tea, because like the polyphenols that we have been talking about this whole time are especially pronounced with Japanese green tea, right? So that effect of like the cloudy, astringent, like overly drying, like not good astringency, but like harsh, like rough astringency is exacerbated with that kind of water. So yeah, and then the whole concept of like Japan doesn't really have hard water. So if you want to taste what people in Japan are tasting, it's not going to be hard water. Like, you know, it's supposed to be soft water. You can make a decision. So yeah. Tea Voyeur, same, so agreeing with Ian at Unomi. I think tasting super bitter is more for my education, but I wouldn't drink that bitter for enjoyment. Yes. So that's why the original formula, by the way, to cut into that, I keep doing this thing where I show the droppers. Steven and I, especially me, I'm very like analytical when it comes to tea in terms of like I want to see if there's a flaw. I want to see how bitter it can get. I want to see what it does with that really harsh water. And I like it. I want to like get data from the tea. So that's why original is very kind of like it brings out bitterness. It's quite harsh. If it's the wrong tea. If it's a good tea, it will like stand up really well. So the old tree teas from like Sohan, you know, like Shangpur, that's really good. Dansong, that's really good. Like high-end tea does really well with original. 'Cause it's not those teas can stand up to that kind of efficient extraction. Um, so this water though, I think will be good for like most light teas. And then also some really it's gonna be very gentle for like sweet black tea too, you know? So I'm happy. I'm really happy. Um so yeah, thanks for the insight on that. Uh Ian saying one of my first experiences with tea, I was doing an event in Hawaii with Obubu farmer Aki in 2010, and he couldn't get his tea to taste right. Ah! The water. Yeah. That's what's I don't like that. I don't like when like all the effort from the farmer and you we're very pro vendor, you know, like all your effort getting the stuff to us and at the last moment the water like fucks some shit up and then tendencies are the customer will blame themselves. Like, oh my palate's not good. I'm not brewing it correctly. I'm not good enough. I don't like Japanese green tea. I just don't get it. Right?
Or the tea.
Or they will blame you, Ian, like or the tea. Like this tea isn't as good. What they were saying on the website is like not accurate. I didn't like it, etc. When it might be the water. So I want to prevent that just for everyone involved, you know. But if your water is good, no need to use it. If your water is bad, you should probably use it. So yeah. Good though. I'm happy with the results. I think it'll be good. Last guesses as to the water recipe name, water formula name. It's gonna drop tomorrow in like less than 12 hours. I hope, depending on how diligent we are tonight about getting the product page up and shooting photos and making a decision as to which variation, the full times or the half times. We'll see. So yeah. Any last questions before we wrap up? I will have to take down these blog posts to see. Just I'm just so behind after AC like went out, but we'll figure it out. I wonder how Japanese black teas hold up with hard water. Yeah, I think they actually are okay, but Japanese black teas, just in my opinion, tend to be more floral and light than a lot of like the standard black teas, which typically the black tea likes heavier water, right? That's why like London tea tastes like UK blends do well with like the hard water that's up there. So of all the black teas that I know, I actually like Japanese black teas a little bit more with lighter water because it just works better with what's in them and the kind of processing that they have. But you know, check it out. See what's up. It's also choices. Like depending on the tea and what it's going for, I'm gonna like adjust what water it is. And then Ian doing the thing that, of course, I'm too shy to talk about all the time. So you're going to be selling the ingredients to make this water formulas. It's these droppers, Ian, which we've been selling for a little bit shyly because you know me. I'm very like
You know me.
teacup. So they've been out already. We have 2 recipes out. It's just they've been good. People have liked them for Japanese green tea, but I think this new recipe is better for Japanese green tea. Some like just for some data, some people have. I think that these waters have really treated Japanese green teas well in the hands of people, but there is a small portion of the reports that is like our original formula is a little bit harsh for a Japanese green tea. And as we now are marketing more towards people I don't know as well, less industry people who understand the bitter sweetness a little bit less, we need to have this more friendly water, which is just going to be easier for them to like pull something friendly out of their teas. Because this is a very like, it pulls out a lot of like the polyphenol taste from tea. Like everything that's in the tea, it pulls out. So that's this water. But yeah, questions before you wrap up? I'm so L-theanine like relaxed right now. I'm just so like, for those of you who have been here this whole time, I'm just like chilled out now. Oh my gosh. So Joni, it is not springy. It's. I'm so happy you keep trying to guess, but yeah. Um. Yep. So yeah, tomorrow Formula will be out. I can't believe it. Less than one sleep away, or one sleep away, I guess. So that'll be on the website, on social. I'll try to email the main list.
I don't know what time of day.
I don't know what time
It
of
could be
day.
late.
We're pretty. I think we're pretty tired, but we will do our like product shoots tonight, probably. Right?
I would say so.
Or you want to do them in the morning so we have some light?
I'm not sure.
We'll have to figure it out after some like food and stuff.
Yeah.
So speak now, forever hold your peace. This is the recipe: sweet, mellow, umami. The notes that we picked out were like fresh, delicate, mellow, umami, which I think pins it really, really well. The texture is delicious. The finish is really, really, really good. So yeah. Ian, let's collaborate. Hey,
We already are.
we're
We're
already
testing with your
collaborating.
teas.
Yeah, we've been like telling people how amazing the Shinsha selection from Unomi is, which by the way, I mean, it's not like we did that on purpose. You
It
just
just
have
is.
it just is so great. People have been asking us this whole time, where do you get your Shinsha from? Like, friggin' Unomi had the hookup. So yeah, absolutely.
Got that DHL delivery during a live stream.
I know we got your delivery during a live stream. That was great. We got it like 10 p.m. though. It's so funny. We've never had a delivery come in that late. Not because of what you sent out, but our delivery like just was
That's
so
just
late.
our route, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, I would love to collaborate. So because of the perspective that we have, I want this to be a tool for us to make sure that the customers are able to taste what we know is in the tea, what the farmer knows is in the tea, what the vendor is saying is in the tea. So that there's just more like fidelity from like customer, like to the customer all the way from like you guys, So yeah, that'd be dope. And yeah, I saw like the shipping is just so difficult right now. So I hope that's okay. I hope you guys are doing okay. Lots of love for the industry right now. So yeah,
Well,
let's wrap up.
yeah.
I'll DM you, Ian, if you want to, or if I don't know if I forget, because as we talked about already, I'm like I will easily forget because once I expend all my extrovert energy here, I'm gonna like fall on the couch and do this for like a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, we'll figure it out. And any ideas that you have, let us know. And those of you who've joined us just in general, thank you so much. YouTube, thank you for being here. If you've watched this entire like extremely long video,
3 hours.
blog post for like the development of this will come out. And then we'll like record some kind of like episode, I'm sure, on the podcast to talk about water. Water course is gonna get revamped to be a little bit more simple and straightforward. Then tomorrow, that recipe, which will be amazing with your Japanese green teas. Joni, if you get this new recipe, we'll be able to hisoka together with the same water. I love it. Who I want to ask is also friggin' Global Japanese Tea Marathon should do it again. But everyone should have to hear this new recipe. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But Ian, yeah, let me try to make sure that I'm on top of stuff. So thank you for asking. I appreciate it. It's really, really lovely. So thank you so much for joining us. We will sign off so we can get our stuff done tonight. We will be up very, very late. I appreciate all your insight, all your knowledge that you're training with us. It's been fantastic. We couldn't have done this without you. So thank you so much. Good night. Enjoy. Bye.